Okay, I'm live again. Let's see how this goes this time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll go well. Right, so I'm waiting for my guests to join. As always, have problems with, and I don't.
Yeah, but hopefully
Of course, I don't understand what is be happening here. Right? Yeah,
and close out everything, clear your memory, everything, and let's start to write. So hopefully it should
yeah, boy. It should be okay now.
yeah.
I tell you, upon you doing the saving, so you're gonna get a call.
Oh yeah, boy.
No, well, very good, very good. Sorry. So going on, my John, right?
But honestly, by this day, but I just trying to learn as much about history and stuff, and
Mm.
I guess that's a little way do what I
Yeah,
could do, learn a lot of things, and just keep moving forward. I guess.
you what going on check here, way? You never
Well,
call out.
um,
Well, I mean,
if I
it's
didn't,
lockdown ending, so you have an excuse to be over here, right?
it's not like honestly, if I didn't cut it, like I probably cut it throughout this lockdown from since last year. I probably cut
Serious?
it about 4 times. If I didn't cut it,
Mm.
I probably would have harassed me now. Or like short
Like,
dress.
uh, um, you know who come to mind? But I ain't bashing nobody. I'm just saying for whoever viewed. It is how this fella who does be with DJ Anna. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah,
yeah, he kinda
he's
smoke.
treating me here and he is style it all over now.
Right? Honestly,
I
I
well.
don't want to get involved in any kind of imaginary beef on the internet, so I would just leave my comments.
Yeah, I know. It's just similar in a way. Now, the next time we on a live stream, I see you with a permanent.
Nah, boy, nah, boy. Yeah, boy.
So, John, last time we talked, which was
Yeah,
just last week, um, we had plenty to discuss, and I was
correct.
gonna ask you to jump on the podcast. We went on a whole hour and a half talk by itself.
Yeah.
um, so, where you wanna start?
Well, honestly, anyway, but like to be honest, like I was trying to think about where to start myself before we had this call, where and it's like it has so much things. It has so much things you could talk about. Um, the things that come to mind for me was like, well, based on the conversation we had before, on leadership and like how we was talking about like how it was in customer care days. Like this
Hmm.
headset alone is a symbol of pressure for people in the customer care environment now, right?
Yeah,
You
you
know,
know, I still
like
have mine, right?
very like
It right there on my bookshelf was I carried it in
yeah,
sometime because at some point in time I had stopped using it. I just used to use the handset, right? And when you carry it, then you just had to get the supervisor to sign it, right? And nobody signed for it, and to receive it back now. So I was like, well, if you all didn't sign it for it, I'm giving it back. I mean,
exactly
because
like at some point in time, a bonus that is like some kind of financial incentive or bonus that you didn't get. I mean, thanks.
yeah,
I'll
I
take
mean,
that.
yeah, yeah. Really. But I want to get your thoughts on this news that going around as of the past couple of days, where
What's that?
Tobago want to be they want to be
Separate,
separate, yeah,
independent.
yeah, independent.
Um,
I can't imagine that a country doing so poorly that their sister island wants to separate themselves from them.
why? It's like
Because if it's doing good, right? If
turn
it's
that
doing good, you wouldn't want it to like jump ship now.
I've been with you, but it's like I will. I'm not really 100% on it. Like in terms of like, I don't think I would be the best person to answer like
Mm-hmm.
or know the reason why or know the reason fully why that's why they want that separate independence or separation now. I mean like
Mm-hmm.
if you just look at what's going on like currently right now or like what was going on for the past we say about past few years, it's like we see that we was kind of hearing that a little bit from my brothers and them in Tobago, but like
Mm-hmm.
I feel that that's probably want their own economic and they want their own. They want to be. They don't want to
Their
be
own
dependent on
self.
Trinidad. Yeah, that is because I mean, like as it stands, they have a good. I feel like
But
I
I
can't
mean,
answer that question.
I
It's too much. It's like
even though like Tobago right there, right?
yeah,
Um, and it is part of the country. Um, we don't live there, right? We don't know what the word on the street is. We don't know what the regular talk is. We don't know about. I don't know about what their separate parliament customs are. What they believe, you know. Um, so is a for me, I need to sit down and talk about it. Maybe coming from a point of ignorance, we could just speculate. But
yeah,
I, I, if I was to just give my 2 cents about it, I find it really is interesting, and it is. I don't think it's ever been known before, aside from China, right, where island wanted to separate itself from the main um, island, the mainland that is, right? So, with the instance of China was that Taiwan was part of China, Taiwan and Hong Kong,
yeah.
right? And then they wanted their own independence. You know, people think Hong Kong is part of China, but it's not. um, so if you ever heard of Cantonese, Cantonese come from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you see, there's about this thing difference between the.
yeah. It's a whole separate language, you know.
But
It's not just like a speaking style or something, or like an
by
accent or anything.
speaking of that, like how you mentioned that person on YouTube, boy, that he a kind of tall, dark skinned fella that could have talk like multiple languages, and it's
Yeah,
only
I
like
know him
2 weeks out.
as follow. His name is
Yeah,
Loudfeed, 55
correct.
500
Mouse, I think. Yeah,
mouse. Yeah.
boy.
Plus, I've been watching
I
his videos for years now, and it's mind blowing. Like to know that this is
yeah,
how
boy.
people like him now, boy. Man, just randomly walk up to
Polyglot.
people and polyglots, yeah, and just be, just eavesdropping on people and just be like, uh, whatever in their language, just
And it's
drop drop
be
the
fun.
drop the mic.
But you know what's really funny thing is everybody through the videos and things, there's always ask him why you want to learn that language. Like most people would think like for some reason it's like they think it has some ulterior motive to it. Now. It's not like he had to always explain that like it's fun now. That's like learning new languages now. And then
Yeah.
like so I only discovered that guy probably like last week, and then I come to
Mm.
realize that the man passed away now. I was like, it's like
How he
we
what?
living in a huh?
You said how he came to what?
He passed away
He passed away.
about 3 months, 3 to 5 months ago. Yeah, because like I just watching that because I leave the videos on autoplay now. Like I'm watching the
Mm.
cinema, he walking through strip mall and thing talking. And then I mean I might sit and I was doing some work and then I started to hear somebody say it comes with great um like the typical it comes with great sadness that I have to announce that this person passed away. And it's like
Mm.
right after it's like nah it's like I know see this man, like I know discover this man and I was like following up with the different videos and the different kind of content he was producing and then man that's gone that way at the age of 33 or 30, I think it's 33 or 35. Real
Mm.
sad. But I
Well,
mean like as yeah, you seen it there?
that's real, man. Yeah, boy, I'm a real sad boy.
Yeah boy.
Um, I was watching a video here with his cousin. because I'm familiar with him, so I'll just watch one from his cousin and hear what he had to say. But we had to move on with this talk here. I feel like by John by real rumor day by because I was not gonna tell you it had a video that I had watched where he went to a different state, right? He's from Ohio, right? And he went to a
Yeah.
different state somewhere close by to visit his cousin or something. And same situation. He walking through the mall, cousin showing them around thing, and they came up to some Israeli people or something. So it's somewhere in the Middle East, right? And just because he was talking their language, the girls started like him, like literally right there and asking him for his phone number and all kind of thing. I was like, what's kind of live? If she had only known she was being recorded.
Hey, boy. Big up for soon, boy. Long
Yeah,
time, brother.
but
Hope
soon, yeah.
everything good on you. You know what?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, boy, big up everybody, boy. Everybody that we meet in the call center when we used to work, together in them days. Even currently, right now, where we're working currently, everybody know. I just want to big up everybody. You understand? Like everybody, but like personally,
Yeah.
I mean, like I don't really use Facebook that much, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
yeah, big up everybody. Big up everybody.
the reason why I wanted to come on Facebook as opposed to Instagram was
Yeah.
because when it is you're trying to download the video from Instagram, it is end up getting corrupted in a way where the audio and the video doesn't sync properly.
Yeah.
So if it is I had to throw it on my Facebook page, it would be all messed up now. So it's easier to stream on Facebook and download it because Facebook does give you the option to download direct from the site.
Good.
Yeah, well, as long as it's your video.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
So
I
tell me
mean,
about
going back,
leadership.
sorry.
Yeah. No,
Actually, like, what's that? What's that?
no. Well, I was going to change the topic altogether now. But you
All right,
finish your
cool,
thought now.
cool. Yeah, Tobago is like that Tobago thing. I think it's like for me to properly understand that, like, or for us to properly understand it, I think you need to get like a perspective, like directly from the people in Tobago. Like, I don't know. Like, I probably it's only as you mentioned that they kind of jog memory because I was really hearing about it, but I never really take it on enough to like go and see like what people actually seeing about it. And then
Yeah.
also to like as you mentioned, like with Taiwan and China, it I mean like for people to understand, I guess is you have to watch they come like case studies you could watch to see why they wanted to break away from the mainland now. Whether it's
Yeah.
economic, whether it's social factors, whether they don't want to be associated with the what to say the all the norms and the norms that people have towards mainland China. I don't know. Could be
Yeah.
that. And it could be the
Well,
same for Trinidad.
Trinidad have a bad reputation wherever you go, and I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, like, is no surprise to people who just go around at least the Caribbean, right? Because I only know for the Caribbean, right? Where um, it had a time I went to Barbados and Tobago, separate occasions, right? And people were like the exact same question. You're from Trinidad? And I got the same, when I said yes, I got the same reply to that yes, right? Which was a sleeps and a twist of case, right? So
we
from Tobago and Barbados, right? And um, I, you can't help but ask what what it is about Trinidad people or Trinidad culture that people see from outside that we are probably not seeing for ourselves. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying that people don't see it. It's just that it seems as if we don't have that third party perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is the same thing as like I was gonna use the analogy, like, like not everybody just know the smelling bad. Like you understand that? Like
Yeah.
because you got if you get accustomed to a certain scent, you're not gonna smell it. So if you as a like as a person, like giving off we have certain norms and values that we have in this country that we might give off to each other that normal. But somebody else might be like, nah, I ain't going through that.
Yeah.
So that is a whole that's something we have to like really like look at I was gonna say sociology, but like
Mm.
it must have real it must have real underlying factors there that we probably just don't hear about because we don't talk about it that much now, or we don't get the
Mhm.
perspective of somebody in Tobago. I
Yeah.
think that is like the thing. I think it's like even though we are Trinidad and Tobago, like it's like it still have that separation. I'm not even looking at the geographic separation. It still have that difference in culture. Now. It still have a small difference in culture.
Yeah.
So like
Well, I would say
you
it's a
know,
big
like,
difference, because I think the people in Tobago are a lot more tame, and they they're not as, I wouldn't say hostile, right? Because I don't really see it as hostility in a sense, but maybe it is hostile, but where everybody's gonna be a bad man, everybody's gonna be a gunman now, and you don't really see it as often as in Tobago. And the reason why I could say that is because it has have so much people who is actually leave Trinidad to go to Tobago, right? And it's have people who's leave their country, like even if it's in the Caribbean, to go to Tobago just to vacation. It's a smaller island, is more friendly. It had a time I went to Tobago with my one of my friend, right? And it was me, him, and his family. They just asked me to come along because as like the outside son now. um,
yeah.
and it was the first time me and my it was
It no
it was
hit
my
now, it
first
no hit.
yeah, it was my first time in Tobago, and we was lost in a way. Right, so we was just walking, and some people just randomly happened to be there, and they know that we was lost. They could tell, right? And they didn't even like jump with us. There's like a little lost, you need some directions thing, and they gave us directions, and we went about the way, No, not even
Yeah,
like not even like a look in the eye that you could say they're thinking about it, about doing something,
yeah.
But
It's genuine.
I don't
It
know. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's genuine. It's genuine.
and you
So
know what's the
tell me
next thing that
about
I,
oh, good, good.
the last thing that come to mind is like as you say like how or like as we discussed before like how like we perception to like sorry our image to the rest of the world. Like I mean we see what kind of bulletins and reports coming out saying like Trinidad and Tobago stay away from there, like like during these times crime, COVID, whatever. And it's like
Hmm.
I mean like for me like thinking about it now is like I mean if somebody was to read that it would be like Trinidad and Tobago. Like I could understand why Tobago probably don't want to be under that same um category now because they cannot get they get flagged too as because they're under Trinidad and Tobago now.
Hmm.
And I mean if tourism is like that is the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing for Tobago at least. Like so I mean being in that same boat, there's some problems. There's some problems. I guess that the water independence for that is probably one aspect of looking at it. I don't know. But yeah, you next topic, next topic.
I see that your partner here saying your corona
Yeah,
where it coming in with.
man,
Yeah, well,
respect by a long time. So let me hear
it,
Mr. Baba, let me hear what you had to say now. Let me hear.
what I had to say. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
was he next up? Was he?
I feel like well, I sent you the poster, the flyer for the event that I'm hosting soon in
Yeah,
August, right? And I know I wasn't really telling too much people about it. I had to discuss it with Rishi and Marvin, of course, because I can't involve them without their knowledge. And I only told a graphic artist and probably like two other people, if so much, right? And it was a really scary way to make that step to do something that big.
Yeah.
And I just waiting to see what the outcome would be, because everybody is be like, oh, like in the if you click on the picture itself, everybody's saying congratulations. Like if I win the lottery, and I was like, what are people saying congratulations for? But I mean, understand is like you're trying to show some some support
Yeah,
in,
they're just
in
happy for you. They're happy for you,
yeah,
but they say that is good, that is good. But I
yeah.
understand where you're coming from though. Because you still like even though those
There's so much
things is I can
uncertainty,
yeah, I mean I guess some people look at it as a motivator. Like hey, like they might tell, like they might say, hey, this man, or like, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, keep, because at the end of the day, by like, for anything, you don't know what could happen, like, you understand, like, it's just really to keep the, like, positive thoughts, I guess, I mean, still, like, for me, I keep it 50-50, like, you still have to
Mm.
plan, or at least have in mind that might work out,
Yeah.
or like, these things might change because, like, right now, is like, when it comes to work by employment, by like why does always tell people is like wherever you are right now, even if I mean it depends. It has certain degrees of which I think somebody should stay in a job and take all that madness that they encountering, like like whether it's like a kind of bureaucracy kind of vibes or people that's out there, like keep you at a certain level or like you're not getting the kind of support and assistance that you should get from the leaders now or the
Mm-hmm.
supervisors or whatever you want to call it, the managers. I think there's like for me, like looking at it from just being in an equal center environment, I think that's like the main thing. It has certain jobs that you need to show your colleagues and them that you're on the same level as them. When I say on the same level as them, I mean like you came from that background. You know how it is, so you
Mm.
shouldn't forget what people are going through right now. You should
Yeah.
always keep that in mind because that's what I noticed. Like it don't always happen to everybody, but I noticed that it happened to people when like they go up in stature and the whole views change on certain things. Now they become more of they're chasing metrics, they're chasing values, they're chasing what to say key performance, and they're chasing those things instead of like
Mm-hmm. Trying to
instilling
hit KPIs.
in
Yeah.
correct like it's all about numbers is
Mm-hmm.
and like that same thing as with the interview with I can't remember his name right now, but people as he indicated in that interview, people is you need to look at you need to take care of people. You just need to take care of people, whether it's in your department or in your company, or you have to take care
Yeah.
of people.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
well,
at the end of the day,
I
once
agree, right?
yeah. Now you
At
go
the
ahead.
end,
Sorry.
well, good. At the end of the day,
No, insist, please.
no. This is the problem with live streaming in a way because when it sounds like you finish your thought,
Yeah.
it's probably just like a lag, and then you hear it keep talking and then we talking over each other. um, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's about the people, and the people are the heart and soul of any organization, right? And I think that a lot of people, from a managerial standpoint, they try to make things equal, like equal outcome for everybody. So in a sense where um, I don't know if I'm sure you would have experienced this at our previous job where, you here you get a raise, right? And your raise is just like 100 and something dollars extra for the month, right? Which is like nothing,
Yeah.
right? Now that is an example of equal outcome, right? Equal outcome. I mean, it sounds fair, right? But to what extent is it fair, and to what extent is it moral, right? Now, in a situation like that, right? People can't say that they didn't get quote unquote justice because everybody got the equal outcome, right? But
Correct.
is not enough to justify a notification of a change, right? So let me just say, for example, right? Um, there was a there was a budget increase where you could afford a salary increase, right? Right. So instead of creating a outcome where everybody has equal outcome, where everybody has 100 X dollars, 100 dollars, let's say $100, right? Extra in their monthly salary, right? Which is, it feels like an insult that, like, this, I working so hard, I taking all these calls and this cuss and had to talk to all these people for $100 extra. Especially when I feel like my salary is really low, right? Um,
Yeah.
what you could do is create an alternative, in the sense that, and tell me what you think about this, right? Where you create initiatives for people to earn extra, right? So it's the same um, allocation of funds, right? Um, that was determined to be the bonus for people, right? You take that um, allocation for the month, and you break it up into hours that could be earned via overtime. Let me just say, right? And you issued a proper increase via overtime, and you can rotate it, as opposed to just giving everybody $100, and everybody would feel like actual justice is being served, that the company actually has their back, that I feel like I could rely on management to help pull me through a situation, because a lot of people
Understood.
work paycheck by paycheck, and honestly, what you just need is just a little bump for like 1 week or 2 weeks, and you feel a little bit more secure in yourself. And once you feel secure in your finances, I mean, I don't know if anybody has ever felt that, but from going from nothing to having just a little bit of a cushion, between saying I don't have to worry about my immediate paycheck running out, my immediate bank
Yeah.
running out, is a sense of safety. It feels good. And I I don't know, it just feel like everybody's so focused on equality that it undermines everybody else's efforts, um, and it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel it feels, it comes from a genuine place, right? Like everybody, like the people who are authorizing this, issuing this increase, is like, yeah, I genuinely want to give you this, but I can't just give you, I have to give everybody.
Why?
What do you
I
think? What do you think?
see for me that topic, like, even though the guy break it down in a certain way in the video, like, like, how to say this, right? So, all right, so essentially, like, for me, like, why I find that would be extremely hard to accomplish is because most companies have the mindset of, for some reason, like I could only know about it, I could only explain based on the companies I work for. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and like, like, some people just look at the, like, giving back to society as a good thing. All right, so, like, let me say this company, cable and wireless or something. Let's using cable and wireless, right? Um, they make a certain amount of profits for a particular, over a particular period, for the
Mm-hmm.
first financial, the financial, whatever they just call them thing. I can't remember. But like for FY1 they make a certain amount of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it is, like, some I think the problem is, like, if you could foster an environment where employees not, or yeah, employees not, they don't have to be, then they're seeing that, sorry. Now, that one is a tough one, way.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it
can't,
is.
so let me
Think
just,
about it. Think about it. Yeah.
is the reason why I don't feel like, I find that it's a difficult thing to talk about, like, because when it comes to Trinidad, that is like, we know that these companies making money, all right? They're making
Mm-hmm.
money, and I think, like, what I was trying to say is that if managers could find a way to foster in the employees on them, not to like to like not look at the just the purely the financial aspect of it. Because even though, as they say that, you know, people will be working paycheck to paycheck, some people, that's just a job to them. Like, that's
Yeah.
a source of income to them. They either don't know the processes and they know how to get the work done through their own means, or some of them are masters of the processes, or some of them come and change it up in they might share it with everybody, but they will change it up to their benefit, so they could
Make the
what
job
to say,
easier
like
for them, I think.
make the job easier for them, and also like kind of keep the carry them in a direction where they can move out of that department or get like an upgrade now. And I think that is where sometimes you need to start, because that is how once you could totally remove that kind of thinking, everybody will be in like an kind of unison. Everybody will think that, okay, like I love my department, I love my colleagues, I love, like when I say love, I mean like now, like
Yeah,
when they come to work, they don't get instant headache. And I show we know about them thing, like yeah, we know about them thing. You come in early 6 o'clock, the phone start to ring, and they watching our phone like, that demons up this early, boy? Like
yeah,
serious, boy?
yeah.
And it's like, but like, you know, like from once I think like in somebody once a supervisor or a manager could foster the environment where the team members they don't have to necessarily look at the paycheck as like that is it. They have to like they want you have to foster some kind of
It's a work culture where people feel ease and they want to
correct.
come to work and thing, you know. And um, let me give you a story, right? Where before I started to work at Flow, right? Where was I? Where I was doing my telecommunication diploma, right? In UE. And I was walking home someday, and I always like when I was like 19, 20, I was like it, it would be real cool to work at Flow, you know. And you know that thought just kept coming to my mind away. And I remember this one time I was doing my actual telecommunication diploma there, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I was working Flow? And that same day when I was walking home, I saw this Flow guy up in Apollo, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool to work at Flow, right? And
Yeah,
1 year after, I was working at Flow, right? So I was actually anticipating to actually work there. I wanted to work there, right? So that's why, like for me, I could say for myself that I didn't have like, you know, it's how people who's come to work and they're angry, like they vexed they had to come to work. It's like, nah, it wasn't like that for me because I wanted to work there in particular, even if it was
yeah,
for a little bit, you know. And it was just like a bucket list kind of thing, no?
yeah.
And it happened. Luckily, you know, it is good people, and you know, that's
Indeed,
make the experience better. That's make the experience
correct.
way better, you know, because once you when you're in an environment that is harsh, but the people uh, not just lively, but you know, they're joking around, and you know, they don't take
Yeah.
their job over serious, and I think
But they still know
it
this
is
stuff,
make the
eh?
job. Yeah. They're the masters of the job and they know how to do it. And everything becomes easier, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And just to go back, like just like how you explain, like working for Flow, like when I was there, well, obviously when we were there, is what really make it for me was the work was ignorant, the work was stressful, you know, like
Yeah.
not being able
It
to
doesn't
like
take away the stress.
correct, but it's the people that used to take away that stress. Right, I remember
Mm-hmm.
sitting down under that TV, that the four the that cubicle set up where it had like four people in our box. I remember that, boy, and that was like once it used to have particular team sitting down in there, and you know like you see like I like we boy would it, you know, like Andrew will be on that side, and then they go have our
Mm-hmm.
next man right there, and like everybody that's, you know, everybody getting work done. everybody chilling, like everybody cool, and like yeah, the calls coming in, but like
Yeah.
we on it now. We are dropping the ball at all now, boy.
Yeah.
And that's like that's one thing where, to be honest, like we shouldn't depend on management or supervisors to have that own kind of environment for ourselves. We should be able to like do that for ourselves. Like the environment, we know the environment. You understand? We know it's stressful and thing, but when you have your partners next to you, when you have your boy next to you on the next side day, and you know, like everybody to a certain extent know what they're about. You know, like if you don't know
The
something,
strain feels less, yeah.
correct. And then like the supervisors, I mean, like for me, I find like my approach to supervision, like in that particular, is not to be like that person that over everybody and like what you doing there? Why are you on bathroom break for 5 minutes? Like them kind of thing that already
Yeah.
help foster a good relationship between management and staff. You know, like if you see a man going bathroom break for 5 minutes, what do you think he doing?
Smoking.
But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, it's like I'm not saying that the supervisors had to be cool and like drop their guard and like allow these, because you know it's always employees that will you know take a correct.
Yeah.
So like once you could foster an environment that people do have to think like that, where it's like yes, people are also welcome to come to Angry, because it doesn't necessarily have to be the work. It could be the environment they're coming from that have them in that state. And then sometimes this boy long like Baji, when they see the boys on them, everybody cool. You understand? Everybody. And I think that's where you need to really, well that's
I mean,
some thing.
that's the thing that people just have, even though you're in an environment that is hostile, I think that doesn't take away the fact that people could still have horrible lives, right? And with anybody anywhere at any point in time, work could be an escape from that, you know. So even though that you come to work in a stressful environment, is not something that is going to deter you away from wanting to be there.
Yeah. The only thing though is like what for me, like what would have turned me, well, you see, like for me, I I can only talk for myself, right? So like for me, like I don't study, like my immediate goal is not to like come in a company and this. I like when I fit in when I start to fit in an department, I don't want to say I get comfortable, but like it doesn't, I don't want to be, I'm not immediately motivated to just leave the company or leave the department, you know. Is for me, like those, what will trigger something like that is if two things, well, for me at least, if you see like a change in management and not really suitable for like the department to go forward. You know, like if you go strictly on metrics and like you start to, let me say you go strictly on metrics and you're judging everybody by these certain KPIs and things, you will literally burn out them people. Right? I mean, like it's I mean, you still need those KPIs to keep things in order, which is fair, because at the end of the day, we're working for a company that paying us, so we have to still do their bidding, and no matter how they lay it out to us. But it's still, I think that we need to, like, as supervisors or managers, need to understand that those are the things that you can't just solely push. You know, you have to have that human aspect of things still. You must be able to like, even if you're pushing it, at least push it in a way where the agents or the staff could see, okay, realistically, I understand where these people are coming from. You know, I understand that if I don't fill this particular gap, we will be under a certain metric, and the tax will come and bust we through as a call center. You know? But sometimes they just give it to them as real as possible. Like when I say as real as possible, like I'll give an example of a good colleague of mine where let me just see, reaching on time was in the punctuality was
It's
in the
challenging for me. Yeah.
correct. No, I experienced that too. Even as a supervisor, I coming from South Dog, like let me be real, we know that traffic vibes. And if you're like get early,
Mm-hmm.
by the time you reach
Work
your
it.
work, you done tired already. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in all fairness, try to reach your work on time. All right. Now, when we had to do like appraisals for agents and stuff now. So essentially, I talking to basically like the manager of the entire center, the call center or something, all right? And I really respect you for that because, to be honest, like I show him the metrics for the different agents and stuff, and like he was like, "So what going on with this man? This man, even working with us still? He's still working with me? That's what he wanted me." I was like, "Yeah, he's still working with you." He was like, "Yeah, this scene. Again, you one last chance to talk to this man for him to improve his punctuality and stuff." I pulled him on aside one time. I say, "You see now, like I just been real with you. All right, I had a meeting with this guy. This is the information I presented him. This is the feedback I got from him, and this is the feedback I'm giving to you. All right, real calm, normal, professional, and told the man this right after that.
Get better.
No issues,
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, like one could say that well, you shouldn't be reaching late in the first place, but I still don't know what could be contributing to this man reaching late. I could.
John, there's some way that
So essentially it's like like the point I'm trying to drive is like, as a supervisor or as a manager, you have to really sit down and watch your audience or your staff and see what are their strong points, what where they falling on, or what they good in. Put them on projects that could either help them boost the things that they're good in, and as well like boost the things that they're not too proficient in. I think like from what I experience, I think like sometimes empowering the agents with like even something as simple as a small level of access in an application that will allow them to do our job more efficiently. As a supervisor, you're supposed to be able to watch them thing and say, if you have a good long-standing relationship with other departments, like with other internal stakeholders, you should be able to use your weight to like, like push certain things to make your department more efficient and effective as well now. I mean, like, I'm not saying that I did everything proper and 100%, but it's really to like try to keep your team members on them in a frame of mind where they will get it, they will what to say it by like the work is not really added stress, it will just flow for them. But at the same time, like you still have to take into consideration where they're coming from, what kind of issues they might have at home. And it's have scenarios like that. Sometimes like it's be real plenty way. But you still I still be like going back to the point that you must take care of people. You must take care of people in whatever department or environment in, so that they could take care of you. That's how it is. Be honest.
Well, yeah, that's how it should be, right? I mean, the thing is, I know we've been talking about this managerial thing for like a while now. But just to get this last point across is that sometimes the system itself could be hypocritical in a way that
Yes.
um,
Yes.
in a way that they make it seem like they care about their staff by letting them know that if it is something going on home, if it is things like that, let us know. If it is you need somebody to talk to, we have counseling services through the health of the healthcare of the system or something of the company, and and things like that, right? But in the same breath, right? Let me say you have a punctuality problem, right? And the same situation like what you just said there, right? that was a good outcome, right? You get a good outcome because you approach the situation good, right? But I know that you know that there are supervisors, and maybe you've been in the receiving end as well, where people are immediately disciplinarians or they're authoritative and they want to just come down on you and be like, John, what shit you doing? You're coming late
The
and you need to do better or you'll get fired and you get like warning letters and you hang a warning letter right there. So it's like there's a disconnect between what is stated and what is being practiced, and it feels disingenuous, like there's no authenticity behind um, policies, that
correct,
care for that's supposed to be like caring for the employees.
correct. But
So
so what's that? Something as simple as I could give an example where like sometimes your company might have like a staff party or something, or
mhm,
like a event that on the premises now of the where the company is that like is. So I remember when it had, obviously you go has is after work now, so you go have staff that go be on the queue while men linemen up there. While
mhm,
men they hear any music, you're watching people walking with thing to eat in the hand, thing to drink. And you just on calls there and like as a like for me I remember like as a supervisor, you should at least be able to like bring something for them. Something as
mhm,
simple as that. Right? Something as
yeah,
simple as that. You
mhm,
know, you, and it's not to get it's not to be favorable.
mhm,
It's just the human. Once you could do the human, once you could fulfill the human aspect of things, and I think that is what
mhm,
people like not really they don't really have that. Well, not all people, but now like we have to look at it from the human aspect. Oh gosh, the man on the queue they're dying. The man getting police from whoever about some account it should have had nothing to do with you.
yeah.
You understand? At least
Well,
go and get something for that man to
John,
eat, get something for you to drink.
John, the bottom line is this, right? That there are many workers and then there are leaders, right? I mean, and not everybody is a leader. The leaders are only at not even the 1% or the fraction of the top, like genuine leaders. And they see things differently. They see the world differently because of their philosophy and their mindsets and how things should be. So people always act in accordance to who they believe they are. And if it is that you in maybe it may not always be like a conscious thought, but in your heart you believe that you want justice for all, or like you want um, you want people to feel like everybody is included, everybody is appreciated, and like in a work environment that we're talking about all one, right? Where you want you don't want it to be you don't want there to be friction. You don't want um, you don't want uh, problems. You're a
Correct.
solution based person. You're gonna act like that. You're gonna act in a way that's gonna help create um, not just a better work environment, but a better lifestyle for everybody within there. Because um, a work culture is important in itself, right? And you and I, we have call center background for a substantial number of years, right? And we know that a call center can, and most of them are, extremely toxic, like
Correct.
ridiculously toxic. And to break that that mindset and that beliefs that like what we've been talking about before, you come to Vex. The air in
Yeah.
the center is dry. It is like corrosive. It's like it burning your skin. It's like you don't want to be there. And and honestly, like I used to feel that way for like when I had one person around, like when I now started to work there and I was forced to sit close to this person. I just didn't want to be there anymore because it's just like a whole vibe now way.
Uh,
And I could tell you off camera who that person was, but um, uh, it was a lady. It's not a fella. Some crazy lady, right? Of course,
I, I
if
feel
anybody listen,
I know what you're talking about. I feel I was still there way.
I think so. Yeah. Of course, at that time I offered her. I bought a big pack of rough tops in a way, and I was walking around sharing it rough tops for everybody who wanted to take a two biscuit, a three biscuit, you know. And I offered her rough tops sauce, and she get upset with me. I imagine I given you a snack, right? And you get upset with me.
Right?
uh, but
I will tell you
yeah,
way.
crazy
But
people, right?
on a real way, big up. Hey, if whoever watching this way and like whoever come across it, way, just big up everybody, way. Like everybody that would have passed through, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, boy. That
Honestly,
is
like I feel like everybody should have a customer service type job because
yeah,
it really exposes you to the world in a different light that you can't get in a different type of job, you know. So it's like, let's say you're an IT tech for a company or something somewhere. The world not gonna be as ugly as it is compared to somebody who working in a call center or somebody who working in a food business, like let's say KFC or something, you know. Um, People is always want to complain, oh, Pennywise people and KFC people, and they're always upset, they're always grimy and in bad attitude. And but when it is you understand where these people situations, um, what is like in a customer service environment, even though it's upsetting, you're not gonna be upset because you could understand already.
yeah.
At least that's the way I just see it, you know. I mean,
Oh, it is.
I,
For me, but it's like people would expect that call center work easy because at a certain level of being anonymous now. Because I mean, at the end of the day, this person only know your name, and most people don't remember your voice.
that's not true, right?
So all right, well, because you know why I say that for is because I remember I had a situation when I was in tier two. And, you know, like how it is be where we used to have to, like, so they put everybody on the same queue basically to make sure that the metrics intact now, that we up to back in terms of the call center performance now. And I remember talking to a lady that was real disrespectful, to be honest. But like essentially the issue wasn't on Flu's end. It was on, you know, like
Customer
with the
premises, yeah.
personal equipment and stuff. And like I tell the leader, the lady called back and she get me again. And was like, the last person didn't help me. The last person was a waste of time. And I just was like, all right. So I was like, okay, let me go through the same thing again. If you want to go through the same thing again, by all means, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's like, do the same thing with the person. This time they listen to you, and it worked for them. And it's be like, wait. But that was
you
a
listen.
I only got that probably I think twice. It was that lady and our next guy that tried to explain something to me in apples and oranges. I remember that guy. He was like, all right, let me explain it to you in apples and oranges. I was like, I mute my mic. I was like, I turned to either one of them fellas and them. I think it was Udito or Andrew. And I was like, but this man not serious. I went and talked to Lawrence one time and say, Lawrence, sir, we currently have a very difficult customer on the line. I do my email and everything. And he went from that for apples and oranges to cursing, and I was like, so if you continue this language, I will have to hang up the call. Of course he cursed, and of course, well, poop, poop,
Yeah,
poop, laters. You know, so it have times like that, then it have difficult customers, but the thing is where you see, like, I can't compare that to somebody working in KFC because they're directly in front of the people now, right? They have to deal with the public in breathing space, in like breathing space now, where it's like we, you know,
well,
like
I mean,
like,
I can understand what you're saying, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people just have over the phone energy, where they could be extra and thing. And some people just have in-person energy in a way, and a lot more people have over the phone energy because they can't
Correct.
be seen no way.
Correct. They all kind of thing. They say, boy, this, that, hold this and hold
Mm,
that. But when they see them in real, I mean, like, hi there. All
yeah,
things today. Good afternoon.
yeah. I
So,
remember I remember when I was still training in Flowway and like I now coming as a Taiwan, right? And this was probably like within the first 2 weeks um I see the phone ring, right? And I see a name come up now because he man calling from his phone, right? And I was like,
yeah.
oh God, boy. I had to take this call because it was one of my ex bosses now way.
Hey, I
And
remember.
as soon as I pick up the phone, I was like, hello. And I pause after I say hello on purpose, right? Because
Yeah,
I was kind of hesitant to say my name now. And
yeah.
he's like, oh, hey, Nigel. I was like, yes. um,
Nah, nah, nah. Yeah, that's good.
he's like, the technician didn't come yet, thing. And I was like, okay, no problem. Never deal with this here, right? I'm gonna see if I can get through with the technician. I'll send an email to the supervisor and I do everything that I need to do now way under Nigel's name, right?
Yeah,
But then I talked to Terrence. I was like, Terrence, here we know way.
big
This
up.
man call. No, I was real transparent now way. I was telling boss, this my former boss called me here, one of them at least, and he just started talking as soon as I pick up now way, and he's like, well, okay, but don't let it happen again because you're misleading now way. Um, because
Hmm.
next thing he called and go well and the man wanna blow up Nigel. Poor Nigel.
Yeah, get shine up for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it strange, like how you talk about that in call the in person. It have the in person energy and the on call energy is like I think like and there's like a what to say. I wouldn't say a secret or like a but there's like a fun fact or something like a FAQ. Like if you want to if you're having problems adjusting to a call center environmental lifestyle,
Mm.
boost it, try to focus on being able to like and that's what helped me personally. Like try try to not how to say it, but it's like you have to understand that okay, the person you're talking to on the phone does not have the same technical understanding or knowledge that he may have. Not everybody, you know. The funny
Mm.
is the best is be when you meet up people at Barania. And especially like when you now start off like in like you see like in tier one or something, and all you know to do is reset modem, factory set this, log into the modem and change the society and thing. And this man talking to you about well I noticed that all the connection double knotted what going on here, this and that, and I have a dual one router here and I want to get a static IP with this and that. And, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean like them things just come as a when you're on the call, those things will just the challenging here and something you probably do you never heard before you don't understand is what is
Mm.
kind of break down the conversation like in a bad way. Now. Sometimes you just have to. What I used to do is just write down every single thing, type out everything, have a notepad there, type out
Mm.
everything. That
Yeah.
way, you don't have to make the customer angry by asking them by asking them to repeat themselves.
Yeah.
Like, but you have to be stern sometimes with certain things. Like, let's like as I explained, like how certain customers will just start one time, like talking. Like
Mm.
listen to them, but they have to understand that okay, for me to proceed further, so I'll need the account information, address this to confirm this. And sometimes people look so arrogant over the phone, but they're not really arrogant. That's just the voice. Some people be like,
Yeah.
yeah, boy, mm-hmm. Like that might be normal. So yeah, that's how the yes, cameras. It hard to maintain. I mean, it take years to maintain that, to be honest.
Mm.
But it just get to. It's kind of for me. It helped me like communicate with people as well, like different from different. Well, I wouldn't be able to know their background and stuff, but
Yeah, yeah,
still now, like whatever competences they have, they brought on the call with them. Whether it be
yeah. Mm.
troubleshooting skills, whether it be the competency in following instructions that they're given to them. Like, you know, like sometimes you have to tell them, right, nah, so that was some good work. Little things like that.
Yeah.
You know, not all the time you tell something.
We just always see like the bad. We always talk about the bad things that's happened, like in a call center environment or like a work environment, right?
Yeah.
But it does have a lot of good things as well too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the problem is that the bad does outweigh the good,
Good.
right? And I remember, I remember it had a day for Christmas. Was I was taking this guy call, and I fixed the guy internet, and he's like, "Boy, where you day? Come and check me out. Come for a drink and all kind of thing." I was like, "Horse, listen." um, the man become a friend instantly also, and I do understand. It's like, but aside from that, right? Sometimes a stranger could actually, well, I was gonna say see, but like see or hear things that might be to that you might be unaware of, right? So like I remember in a situation like this, right, where this didn't happen to me, it happened to somebody I know I'm good friends with, right? He was talking to a customer, and the customer's like, you know, you have a really good radio voice. You should really consider
I sure
doing a
agree with
radio. Yeah, and I know you know this guy too, right? Who is an actual radio DJ now. Remember Owen?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, remember Owen actually made it to radio. So
You
he,
sorry? All right.
yeah, I don't know if I don't know like if he's like a just like a radio personality or whatever it is, but I
Yeah.
know he's doing the course and I know he made it. That's all. um, can't say about present time, but um, but yeah, I mean that's real life. That's real life. That's real life. Because sometimes a stranger could really pick up things that you might be sleeping on away.
Correct. You know, I know this topic we could talk about this for so long, but like it had two more things out of so like I remember the first time I had to talk to a visually disabled person, but that was at yeah, but he's a can't remember his name, but he real cool, but that man was just real cool, but that man
Mm.
was like he had things in place. Well, I mean, like obviously there's certain things that you went play stripper and ask him, man, sir, can you please reset the modem? You have to be. You see, like when they take calls like that, it is kind of put you in place. Like, hey, this is how life is for some people. This is how life is for the rest of. You thinking you talking to a person that properly able. You
Mm-hmm.
understand it? That you just had to take into consideration all those things, and it's like, and you'll be surprised. It's like sometimes that the kind of the
That
way
is a
how
situation. That is
yeah,
a situation where it actually tests your character, where to see if you could actually go the extra mile to serve people.
correct,
Not just a
correct,
customer, but people, because that one person is
yeah,
reflective of humanity, right? And if it
yeah,
is that you as a person could say, all right, this person is really genuinely in need, and I am the sole person that could be of service to this person here. I'm the person who's actually
yeah,
being taking care of this person for like just for like 5 minutes, however long that call is, right? Um, if this person can't reset the modem, I know I can reset the modem from my side. I just had to send a command,
correct,
right? And and why is I gonna ask the man to reset the modem?
yeah. Or to do
It's like
certain things that you know that you know.
yeah.
But you'll be surprised. Like the thing is, with I remember he had a fully automated kind of voice system that is um that is basically like it is do everything like is basically do everything for him. Like I don't know where he was, or I don't know the environment he was in, but he had a proper setup to make sure he was getting his stuff done, regardless. And that amazed me actually. That was the first time like talking to like encountering a customer like that. And like
Mm,
and those when I get through with those customers, it is feel real good, boy. It
mm,
is feel real good. It's like, all right, nice. This man gets sorted out. He could do what he had to do. You understand?
mm.
Oh, the second thing
And
I had to tell you, brother, man. So
tell me,
you, I would just use I don't want to mention the person name because, but it
of
was
course,
a
go ahead.
specific character that we used to encounter in Flow on the daily. When it came to gaming, when it came to gaming and pings and certain metrics that he wasn't getting a specific you know the person. The initials are KR. KR.
KR.
From the
I
show
think I
Gonna
have an idea.
Syria.
I think I have an idea, but you bounce off in digital.
Brother man. So here so let me get all right. So let me just be real quick. I'll get a real quick story here. So essentially, we encountered our customer. When we was in Flow. When I was at T2 in Flow, and he was complaining about a specific game. He does like apparently he's like one of a few people in the Caribbean that's played that game. Yeah.
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 That man is I don't know.
I don't remember his name, but I remember the situation. It's like that he's only played that one game, yeah.
Correct.
And it's a real
So
unknown game. What's the name of the game again?
I can't. Why I banned that from memory, but like it has certain things that I is banned from memory because like
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. When I reach to like close to the end, you'll understand why. So essentially, that was at tier 2 at that time. So you know, like we had to do all the escalations. We sent it to we sent it to I think it was network administration or network infrastructure. I can't remember all the emails, right? But like essentially, it reached our department. It reached a stage where the manager of the NOC had to get involved and use packet trace and all kind of thing to see where the band would go in and all kind of madness. And we actually give him a static IP, do testing like that. He still complaining about this, you know, right? So last I remember, we went so back and forth with him where I think the company made a decision where it's either, sir, we need to understand that this game, based on where the game servers are located, all them kind of thing we had to explain to him. And like he didn't want to take that, and I think he had ended up canceling the service, so we ended up like telling him that, well, so you're free to cancel the service if it had reached that stage. Fast forward to the next service provider. You know, I had to talk to that same man. That same man, bro, and you know the thing? It went through the same escalation process. It went from, because I was at T2 at the time as well, and when for Digicel, and I remember
it's like your demons follow you away.
But I remember having to go to the NOC, sit down with the manager of the NOC, and as well as RL Big Boy from IP. Them men was doing all kind of thing in command from boy. You understand? Doing this, doing that. They say, all right, cool, we go change some configurations on the UNT, or on the modem, sorry. We go do this, we go change the profile, we go do all this. Still didn't work. In fact, the same guy complained to Tat that I promised him. Remember my name and way. Because I used to converse with him by email. I say, I go help this man out. See, that's when like I get burned down. Like one of my first experiences getting burned from a customer when they try to help them. And it kinda, for me, I mean, I can't say I'm not going to do that again because that's my job now. But I mean, like I'm not going to start up that conversation in a whole entirely new medium. If the medium is via a ticketing system, sir, please create this ticket and send it here. Because you know how customers are, right? They get information before you know it, every day they're sending us something about something. And that's how it is, and I experienced that already. And well, with the same guy, man, report me to that, brother, man. It had them bring official email to me, them bring official mail that is, they actually scan it and email it to me, and I was like, you could sort out this out. And I had to do a autobiography of how I deal with this man from way back when, how to deal with him now. Basically what we went through, or everything we do from a troubleshooting standpoint. We change everything we do from sending text to change the man modem. How much times? I think it was 2 or 3 times we changed the modem. Change the configuration, all them things. And I had to literally do a small project as to why this person talking to. You understand? Like this customer is kind of damaging, he damaging people inside the organization here. And he talking lies. Like for me, like I never really like the billing aspect of things. I find like as a technical person, I don't really want to hear nothing about no CRM and billing and nothing. I don't care about them things. I just being
the name just came to mouse.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
right, I had to deal with that person in two different companies now, right?
yeah.
You understand? And I could literally write a book on that, man, dog. Like how, like encounters with,
Mm.
yeah, basically. And like, it reached a stage where we had to, well, I sent my rebuttal, and from there, nobody ever tell me anything. Nobody
Uh,
come back and say, John, hard luck.
it's
And
people like
to be
them
honest, like,
who does end up being like a meme nowadays. So
yeah,
before meme culture end up being a thing, you know, I don't know about you, but I just if I end up if you ever end up with in a situation like that similar again with somebody else,
yeah,
they could be like, wait, this person is a real care.
for real, for real.
Yeah,
Like he's the new, he's the standard. He's the standard.
he, yeah, freaking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
boy.
I never thought I would hear her name again.
Trust me. Me too, sir. Me too. After years passed by, I said, this man, and it's like, I should have think about
Uh,
it because obviously you would have switched networks if from a copper network to a pure fiber network. Of course he going to switch. Of course he want that 1 ms ping or that 5 ms ping.
mm,
Yeah, of course he want that. But it never occurred to me until the day, and I think I get your supervisor call too. Like I'd actually get a supervisor call for him as well, and it's like bring
what
back real
was the
memory.
what was the outcome of you having to write up a report after the TAT
But
complaint?
personally, I don't know, by and the reason why I don't know is because now it have some people that know me from the GSL that know that when I send an email, let me say you send my department an email that is trash, I'm
Mm,
going to send you that trash properly packaged nice with a nice greeting and everything, but essentially telling you, sir, you made a grave mistake here. This has nothing to do with this department. This has nothing to do with we don't have oversight of these things. So like I don't know if it
mm,
was because of that, because personally when I respond to things like that, I just take
mm.
my time and I just make sure I put all the information as much as I have. And I think that's what everybody needs to do. Like take like if you must be, and I think that's how I gather, that's how I kinda what to say, like writing skills, like email etiquette and stuff. That is how I
Mm-hmm.
learned to this interactions with departments, whether it's a good interaction or not. Whether it's to advise a department that hey, sometimes you have to play that role especially as a supervisor, you have to let people know that hey, this is the boundaries of our department. Please be
Mm-hmm.
advised on this. Because it will always have people that will try to
Take more
influence
than.
or correct or they will remember at the end of the day if you have a certain caliber of people on your team that doing certain things or have knowledge on certain things, every people on the outside are going to be looking at your department. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to be looking at hey this person good for this, and I experience that. I experience colleagues being like I don't want to say captured. I mean at the end of the day they have to make their own decision, but like
Mm-hmm.
you know the based on the kind of skills that they were taken out from my team. I mean, and that's how the game is. That's how life is. But that's the scenarios you just have to live with. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like that, and that's the next thing too of being a supervisor. You have to know how to protect your arsenal. The members of your team that
Mm-hmm.
that
The
could
football team.
vouch and yeah. If you yeah the football team because in fact I think it was it was like I can't remember but like essentially yeah, you have to always like people is always be watching where you have and like some people might try to take that from you way
Mm-hmm.
just so that they could with their particular task. You have to say no when to say no. You have to know when to say slow your roll, brother man. These are my resources. When I say my resources, this is a team that I am
No,
looking after, right?
like I said, right? This is the boundaries. This is the limit of the department, right? They're asking for something that we cannot do. You know, you don't call in the internet and telephone department and say, "Hey, my cable not showing." You know,
That is our next thing. Hey, our next thing, brother, man. Like, for some reason, it's like once you work in a call center, apparently you could do anything. Well, I mean, it's not false. Anybody could do anything. But like,
mm,
you have to understand that if something is sold if somebody's coming into a company and they are sold that they will be doing this for a particular salary, and then things coming in, additional things coming in slowly,
mm.
and becoming permanent as the new task. That is when people will start to really, like, I ain't going through this again.
Mm.
Some people might leave because of those things.
So I want to ask you, right? I want to ask you this,
Yeah.
right? Like, how is it? Well, I know you're no longer a supervisor, right?
Yeah.
But like, how is it you as a supervisor? How is it do you foster a good relationship with the people who are under you,
Right, to be
and
honest,
keep
well,
and keep the teamwork, not just you're not the glue that keeps the teamwork there. You making sure that it's thriving between everybody, even if you're not there.
but to be honest, buddy, like, as many, I don't, to say, right, like, first of all, right, like, besides maintaining, you see, in my scenario, I don't know if it's blessings or something, or, like, thank God, like, it's blessings, but, like, the team or the people that I would have started up, I remember when I now started training these, all right, like, to fast forward from there to, all right, now, let me just answer your question, sorry. Let me just ask you a question where I asked that. So, essentially, like, you have to be able to sit down and really watch, like, or really observe your teammates or your team members, because everybody different. It have people, you will encounter people that could do their work, but they have an attitude issue, or they have a punctuality issue, or they have an issue with doing additional tasks that are not under their purview. All right, so like, you have to come in that role understanding that you're going to encounter people like that.
Mhm.
No matter what, you're going to encounter things that you don't want to have to deal with, like things like with like, especially like if you have like females on the team, you have to have a different kind of what to say, like, you have to maintain a certain kind of, to say, by
Professionalism.
communication.
Okay.
What's that?
I was
Like,
saying professionalism or something.
correct. In your communication and in other things. But like, because I remember I had one scenario where I had to deal with a female individual that was verbally abused by one of the male staff. You understand? So you just have to deal with those things in a kind of professional way, but they have to make sure that when you're dealing with them, you have to get the information quick. You understand? Like, that scenario was easy for me because I had witnesses that confirmed the stuff now. Um, when it comes to, you have to be able to sit down too, and like, it's honestly not, thinking about it now, I would say not really hard, because I mean, through the burning process, through that burn to learn process, like, honestly, I never really, for me, supervisory work it started off very, and it still was very frustrating, because at the end of the day, you is the intermediary between upper management and staff. Upper management want you to follow these guidelines, to reach these KPIs, to reach these metrics, and then you have to come now and and find a way that staff friendly, to feed it to the staff, where they could like jump on and be like, okay, they have, and you yourself have to know what are those KPIs. If you don't know what the KPIs are, or if you don't know what are the metrics that your team's supposed to meet, then your team will be lost now. But on top of that, sometimes you have the scenario where you're getting unrealistic metrics to achieve in a specific period of time that will burn out your team members.
Yeah.
Or when you're in an environment where it constantly changes, that could burn out your team members as well. So like, from that perspective, you have to be able to sit back and say, I don't think this will work. Or you have to be able to have that foresight, and at least discuss it with you. You must be, you at least have some kind of I don't want to say democracy, but it's probably that. Like you had to be able to sit down with everybody. And one thing I learned though is see team meetings like through my partner, one of my partners and them, like that is real. That is be helpful because everybody can get to sit down and talk about what they experience and through their lens in the department. Now everybody. As I think we are talking about it, some people just be normal doing the work, but they have issues at home. They have things coming up in life like marriage, like relationship stuff. Sometimes, like you just have to be able to give somebody the time off. Something as simple as that, like using the discretion. Give somebody the time off. Sometimes you have to help them.
Yeah.
You have to be able to show them that, hey, I trust you, and when I give you this time off, or when I give you these when I give you this time off, I trust that you're using that time to do what you advise me that you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I would hope that would be vice, like, you know, the other way around now. But I don't think I really answered your question, to be honest.
But just to piggyback on what you're saying there, like if it is somebody having issues outside of their home and outside of work, right, with like home or relationships and right,
Yeah.
And you know that you're watching this person and they need the time off, but they won't ask for the time off because there's always a stigma attached to somebody asking for something, right? Where, especially time off, because you feel like, oh, somebody want to go, they would probably want to go lime or something, you know?
Yeah.
And this is a problem that I believe that I don't think there's an immediate resolution to this particular problem. The problem is that is with honesty, right? Um, the, the problem with honesty is that nobody rewards honesty. Is always so. Let me just draw an example, right? When you're small and you do some shiftiness and your mother is like, John, you do this, I ain't gonna hit you, don't worry, I ain't gonna hit you. And then you say, yeah, and then you get a cut ass. So there's no incentive.
Now, if you hear something,
away.
now there's some man selling, I think, watermelon or something on topsoil. Sorry about that.
Okay, no, sorry. But yeah, so there's no reward or incentive to be honest. You know, the lie is always the easiest way to think because people are not understanding enough to be like, yeah, there are different facets to life, and to have a holistic life, we need to have everything in balance. Because, like you said, right, so many times throughout this conversation, we've been discussing. If it is you're falling short in one aspect of your life, you're gonna lead to different outcomes in not just your job, but in the way you socialize with people. You know, because it's like we talk about the example of reaching to work angry. You know, you reach to work angry. Some lady reach to work angry. BNO is she husband wake up early in the morning and start to cuss and quarrel and get vexed because something, you know, and the same thing with fellas, you know. I mean, people is only think domestic violence is one way, but it's not one way. It's two ways, right? It's just men are more aggressive than women, right? Um, I um, I think that is a long way before we reach a state where people are so people Trinidad it's an unspoken reality where people just feel like we're the we're not really third world, right? We're more like a first world country in a sense.
We
you know what I
consuming
mean, right?
first world country content. This is how I look at it. We consuming first world country content, food, everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
up here,
Yeah. And well, that's the thing, right? And that's the thing, right? So it's like when you actually go to like a place like England or Canada or the US or wherever, and you see the different quality of life for people, it really um, it can't help but wonder what influences the quality of life for particular societies, right? So um, is it the people that's influencing the quality of life, or is it the government system that is influencing the quality of life, right? So let me just draw two examples here, right? So there's the instances where I studying which two examples to use here, right? So um, there's Cuba, right, which is, I wouldn't say is the most free country because it's a communist country, right?
Yeah.
But people try to make it work, right? And then there's Canada, where is also is a socialist country, not full communism, but it's a socialist country where people are a lot freer than most. People are happy. You know, you always hear this mythos where people, Canadian people are always friendly. You could talk, you could walk up to and talk to people normal, and you know, it's all sorts of things, right? Um, so as I know it's not just one whole thing. Like if it's just like the government, if it's like the governing body that is to blame or to not like a bad thing, but you know it's like is because of their actions that leads to the result of this, or is it the people's mindset over the years that has created this particular thing? Because I think personally, I think that um, and I know some people might disagree, but I think that we as a people we're kind of backwards mentally. Well, so in a societal way, you know, like is I just always have a fear, right? That if I go somewhere like to the mall, for example, I just always had this fear that oh somebody gonna steal my car. Why? Why does somebody who had why does I have to have that fear? You know, I feel everybody that is, you know, some people it might not bother somebody, but if it does happen, you're not going to be surprised. You know, they're not going to be surprised that something like
Yeah,
that would
correct.
happen. You know, so if it is you go to like Canada, like and as always use the example of Canada because it's just the things that you just hear. If it is you do any research on Canada, it's not that they're the ideal country. It's just that is the mannerisms of the people is like what to expect is way different from what you would expect here in Trinidad. It's like two whole different things, you know. Um, but I don't know. What do you think? What do you think that
But I think
we
for me, like
where
from
the
my
disconnect
experience,
lies?
from my experience, but is like what is kind of make life like you see like how you mentioned like those first world countries and things that have specific um schemes and things like things in place like from every aspect of society, transportation, architecture, all those things they have certain things that they that makes that society like
Function.
something more productive, yeah, something more productive, function, and some more efficient. It's
Mm-hmm.
like we still like we still have to go up. We still have to go up
But
Porterspain
the thing
through.
is this, right? And
Yeah,
is not even in first world countries. I know I draw the example of first world countries, right? But let me talk
yeah,
about Asia, for example, right? Like Asian countries or like even in India itself. Like India is not a bad example, but I mean it's have plenty railway systems, plenty. You can't say that you can never go India and not get a train. They always have trains. They might have to fight for a train, but you're there, right? That's the point.
yeah.
uh, um, the and I think that like what you said is really true because um, eh, we don't have enough things in society to make society function the way it should function.
Correct. We
I feel
shouldn't
like
have to.
it's
We
like what
sorry.
you're
We
saying. We
now
um,
you go ahead. Sorry.
is like the only means to somewhere is via car. You can't take a plane. You sure
Yeah,
as hell can't take a train, and the odds of you taking a bus is literally slim.
correct. Actually, the
Yeah.
easy thing is like we do have systems and we do have systems in place that you think that we should have had by now at least. You know,
Mm.
like going through all them different booms and oil and whatever, going through all those things, like we should have at least have something to talk about besides or something. We should have something to represent us other than carnival, other than the steel band. We should be
Yes.
on a kind of scale where we're one of the smallest islands in the country with the best transportation system. Like
Mm.
that's how I looking at it. It's like we have a smaller geographical area to work with, but like everything feeling like if we be working with a graphical like the size of America, like it feel like we can't do these things. And
Mm.
it should, I mean, yeah, it will cost us money. It will, obviously, nothing comes for free, but those are the kind of, if we had that, imagine if we had the mindset that, hey, we working with this space, we could get this done in this time, we could improve this because we working with something, we're not working with something that's on a large scale, we're working with something that we know compared to other nations or compared to other countries. Those things, those things should be easy for us to achieve. Like, why we have to wait so long for a highway to build? Like, don't on my side, brother man. I mean, like, yeah, COVID, obviously, well, things that it'll have other factors that come in. But before those things, before we had COVID and stuff, we could have, we still have to go through this whole traffic thing. Like, once you wake up, if you live in South and you wake up 6 o'clock, and you had to wake up uptown, you might as well reach with. It
Just
ain't
so.
making sense. Yeah, ask them if they could work from home
Mm.
because, and then on top of that, it's like it has put you through a mental strain. When you sit down in a car, brother man, whether it's AC or not, whether you get squeezed up or not, once you sit down in that traffic and you don't see time and you say, well, I thought many times I was in a position like that, brother man. Even with my partners and them, when we used to go up like we all had like a kind of, let's call them thing again, but when I share now right now, right, I have a specific term for it, but like, yeah, basically we share now right, and we going up
The
in traffic
carpooling.
together, correct? And we just
Yeah.
going up in traffic there, and we like, really need to go to work today, boy.
But let me
You
go
know, like,
teach you something.
so it's like the environment fostering that kind of mindset now, boy. That is what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
Like, essentially, we're not doing anything. I wanna say now. It'll always have people that say we're not doing this well. So why you can't do this? It's like why like how we talking now and saying that how they do have this. We basically sound like we complete it, all right?
Mm.
But like at the end of the day, like tell me what I could. I mean, like I know I could make a change at a specific level. Maybe not to get a highway bill, maybe not to get a
Mm.
train system bill, but like if everybody collectively started to think like that and be like, dog, why are we going through this crap in this place? Because the
Mm.
first thing people just want to do is leave the country.
Yes.
Like reach with and
Yeah.
that's brain drain there. Like that's something we learn from well, I can't remember when I learned that too, but we know what brain
Mm.
drain is. All the knowledge,
Yeah.
all the qualified people leaving this place and making the US out there.
Mm.
You understand? And then it now falls on us, the people are trying to survive in this country and have to deal with other things because that's the thing, it's not foster. When we just have a scenario or we just have a situation where all those things are affecting we mindset from that perspective.
Mm.
We thinking from that's why I say we consuming first world content, but we still thinking third world now, boy.
Yeah. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, boy.
Like as you mentioned, the brain drain there, right? It. I feel like we're gonna end up in a little bit of a situation like Italy, right? I don't know if you know about Italy's politics and right, where Italy happens to be a really poor country, right? I was surprised when I found that out, right? But what happens with Italy is that um, one of my friend was explaining it to me. An actual Italian guy, right? He has two masters. Imagine education is free in
Double
Italy,
M,
right?
boy.
Yeah, man. Um, uh, he said education is free in Italy, right? But people are leaving the country so much, right? Because there are no opportunities there for them to grow, right? Because the opportunities are outside of Italy, right? And all the young workforces are leaving, right?
Yeah.
It requires all the people who remain or choose to remain in Italy um, to work longer periods for their life. So like their retirement is later in their life, right? So the workers are older, the work doesn't decrease in any way, um, and power is leaving. The country is just dwindling away because there's nobody to do anything. You know, if I was to paraphrase it really poorly, you know, that is what it is. And
Hey,
like I said,
and
like,
it,
we
but
have
you
a
see,
small limited environment where we could actually have a lot of control. But I understand that there are factors that play that are difficult to overcome, like terrain. Like specifically, terrain is an issue
yeah,
because you know you know probably more than me that it have places in south where um, you're going through and the road ridiculous. Like
yeah,
I have a friend
yeah,
who's telling me that she live in Tableland, right? So you could pass through
brother
Cornwall
man,
there and all that back road there to go to Maya Road, right? But she's saying that
yeah,
it makes no sense taking a road, right? You might as well just drive around, right? Because the road is horrendous. You might end up mashing up your car in some ways if it is you decide to take that road. Now I don't know how true that is, but that is the image she painted for me, right? But I'm not gonna test that water, you know. um, but I know that it's no surprise that we have horrible roads here, and for a country that has used to have our own pitch lake, um, that we have so much companies, large companies that build roads that advertise as road builders. You know, we can't do anything. Let me give you a story as we talk about roads, right? Um, my parents, they live in Valsine, right? Now it have two ways in which they could get to their house, right? But the primary way is come off the highway and you make a left into one of the roads there and you'll end up in another road that will lead to the house, right? On that road that is connecting the two main roads, right? Um,
yeah.
that road is bad, right? That road is like it have big pothole and thing in that road, right? And a company was maybe it was the ministry or something. They were paving um, the bigger road lower down, right? And my mother was like, earlier, I know I have the extra gravel and the extra thing here, right? I don't know if it is that or like it just just like you don't have to pave the whole road, just like at least patch up the big holes now, right? She just
Yeah.
asked, right? And the fellow was like, lady, I know we have all this thing here, but I can't do that because that's not my job. We can't. I'm not getting paid to do that. And they went and they dumped all the extra material, like literally straight away,
We,
discard it.
because I remember a long time when they paving. I remember when I used to live San Fernando. Long time when they paving their road and thing like or your street, like whatever access they had, or they used to come and like make sure it join with your driveway. That small things like that they used to do now. I don't know if they're doing it now, but like that's the kind of things they used to do now. Right? So that real sad, but like that's
Yeah,
pretty sad.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What are you gonna do,
But that is what it. No, the thing is, right? Like I don't have a lot of people going away to live their life because at the end of the day, that is their life now, right? Like that is their life. If they see opportunity or a type of market for something they want to do that only available in a specific country, well, by all means, you understand? Like by we have to do to survive. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, at least for me, I grounded at a certain level of grounding here now, but so like,
Mm.
like I wish. I mean, I don't want to see. It's like if 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 more people had the the mindset to be public patriots, I guess. I don't people that's like as simple thing as give me real mad all the time, guys. Is when they go on the beach and they see men
People
trade.
are only patriots. People are only patriots when it comes to carnival. Only then
Let's
you
be
find
littering and
patriots.
people still
Yeah,
littering. what kind of madness is that, boy?
Mm.
Like shipping us by oh gosh, like you can't like what's so hard? Like let me say you eat a box at KFC. Just put it in your car or something, close up the box properly, put it in your car when you reach home, throw it away, or put it in a bag when it's you send
I've been
straight
through.
on the yeah,
But
them birds
you
on
won't
them
believe
egg.
how much. As you mentioned, you know how much times I just pull aside like people garbage bin just to throw something off the car.
Nah, but is as you say, but is a mindset that we have to get out of. But like, I think is another thing that is kind of concerned me is like the Corsa
Living,
what's that?
the cost of living.
No, actually, what I was gonna say is like from a historical point of view, now, like what people value, like how the norms and values change from back then until now, like how like the mindset of people now, like how you had people that was like kind of like nation builders now. Like I don't really see that much now. It's like you don't really see. I mean, it probably have people out there, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like I not really seeing any kind of or like I not seeing like from the school system where it have like children or teenagers or like adults that that pushing this whole narrative of a patriotic kind of vibe or as that's like how Jamaicans are like Jamaicans and them you know how they
We're
just move
proud
like in
Jamaicans.
terms of like they're proud of certain things now and
Mm-hmm.
yes they obviously they make contributions to society music rasta whatever you want to they make contributions like that and they're proud of it now we make contributions too but it's like we only proud of it when it come around. Like if we get like some kind of gratification for it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like if some bad man from away come and celebrate a carnival, and it's like, hey, Trinidad Carnival is the best. It's like, well, we have to wait until he say that,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of that is like, I just always ask myself like, what we really doing with the steel pan? Like, what's the position with that? Like,
Mm.
we supposed to be. That's supposed to be it. We have to the same kind of the same kind of anger or like ferocity that you will get from people when they try to what to say appropriate their culture. I don't know if that's the correct word. You know, like that. Like we're supposed to have that for everything dealing with us. I know it had something recently with this man with the rum company, Michael B. Jordan or
Black
something.
Panther, Killmonger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
they
like
take
yeah,
Juve.
people get on bad for our word, all right,
Yeah.
for our word. So like,
Mm.
why we can't have that for other things that we have to protect down here now, boy? Because if we don't protect them things, we go just basically forget about it. Like before you know, the next set of generations coming up,
Mm.
they will know nothing about the steel pan. They go see that and be like, "What's that?
Yeah.
What's that?" You know, like
How you
so.
just make music with this?
Don't you know, like is little things that you could see that where we only really consuming everybody else thing. We consuming everybody else thing, you know.
Mm.
Everything that everybody else have to offer, and you will be consuming it. But like, oh, what's the situation the other way around? Yes, it'll have some consumers, whether people do their own research and find out about the country, but it don't really, to me, it don't really feel like, as you see, like when somebody identifies a Trini, you're met with the screw up face and the kind of like
Mm.
tricky dandians kind of vibe now. Why is like that? I mean, yeah, it's probably
Mm.
because of a few bad apples that would have went out into the world and do crap on a global scale.
Mm.
But you had to ask yourself why is that? Like why somebody first reaction to you being a trainee is that now? That kind of
It's
reaction.
upsetting. Yeah, it's upsetting.
It, it kind of
Um,
that kind of sad. Like that's pretty
yeah,
sad.
it is. I mean, but I think to fix things, you have to acknowledge what the problem is, right?
Yeah,
And
but
it's hard to pinpoint where the problem is coming from. But until we're able to do that, um, we can't offer a solution that would be uh, super effective. Not 100%, but like that has a good chance of being effective. Because
yeah,
it's like if you're sick, right? And you have a toothache. You don't go and take Panadol for a toothache, right? You know what the problem is, but I mean, you're trying to cure it with something that is not potent enough in a way.
yeah.
Um, but that's probably like a bad example. But I mean, the thing is, I what does you think we need to do to make progressive changes? What
I
does
think,
you want as if it is you
well,
have to speak for the whole of society? What does you want?
for the whole of society, right? I mean, like, I mean, the changes that the changes that I would, I mean, they're not going to come in the form of highways and better transport, because that will just, if the mindset hasn't changed after those things are provided, I mean, there's people that find faster ways to get what they want, and so are the same mindset now.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think people have to know the history. Like if you know your history, you know where you came from, where you made mistakes, and how you go change, like how to prevent those things. I personally can't. That's how I see it. Like if you know your history about certain things, your mindset will be different.
Mm.
That's how I look at it. Like I mean, it's a kind of, it's not really an answer to your question, but I mean, at least for me, like, but I think it's like you have to at least know your history, and like that will kind of, it for me, how I looking at it. If you know your history, I think I repeated myself, but like
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah,
Basically, it's it comes down to this quote, right? The quote is you don't know, you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been, right?
yeah,
So e- because like I said, you don't want to end up in a situation where you keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. And I feel like this whole um, uh, it's not I don't know what to say. I'm a little bit hesitant to say what I want to say is because people could find it really controversial or like thing, but um, I really genuinely feel like we need a new government system, not or like a new party or somebody else in power. Because honestly, like um, politics and racism, I can't speak about everywhere
yeah,
else. I can't
yeah,
speak about everywhere else, but I can speak about Trinidad. They go hand in hand, right? And it's because independence was not even 100 years ago, right? But it was still in the prime of racism, like back then, right? Um, the political leaders at that point in time, they had to come up in a situation where they would rally uh, voters based on race, right? So it's like, um, have you ever wondered why it is PNM doesn't have a Indian leader or the UNC doesn't have a Negro leader, right?
yeah.
And what you think the repercussions would be if it is that was the case, right? If it is you're trying to save face, if I was to ask a politician that, they'd be like, well, I mean, that don't really matter, but it matters. Everybody knows it matters. When it's come to voting time, you just hear it. You just hear it in the streets, you just hear it by the bar, you just hear it anyway. Um, people not, I think that people not really honest in that discussion
Correct. I agree with you.
where
Like,
where they because nobody's want to admit they're racist, that's the problem. But race is a deciding factor on politics, right? Now, when I think we're going to actually be progressive is when that change is forced upon us, or we um, might manually want to create that change. But I think the from the data that we know so far is that we're not going to manually change. That change is going to happen for us, right? In a sense that um, look at how much people who have migrated to Trinidad legally and illegally, right?
Yeah.
And Guyanese people, I mean Venezuelan people, and whoever else, is have people from all around the world, right? Now, I know from that is absolute fact, right? Because I spoke to these people, right? Venezuelan peoples in particular, right? However, means that they made it in the country, whatever that means is irrelevant, right? The fact is that's
Yeah.
the case, right? Now, these people are people who left their livelihoods back in their past country, right? And these people, they're not just regular street people, right? Like, not I'm not talking about like they're not like market people or like grocery
It's like
people and things like
doctors
that.
and is all kind
Yeah,
of demographic.
people, yeah, people are like doctors and business people and lawyers and all these things, right? What they're running from um, is the effects of communism on their country, right? The people have nothing left there, right? I ask every Venezuelan person that I could ask, right? Because in central area, I don't live there, but I'll be there often, or like wherever I see them, if I see them in a grocery or something, I'm going to suffer. Just to make this statement, right? Um, if you could go back to your country, if let's say your country gets better, right? Would you go back? And without hesitation, they said yes. They want to go back. They want to go back and be patriotic to their country, but they can't, right? Now, given that the situation is what it is in Venezuela, where they're forced to leave, right? I can't say they choose to leave, but it's like a forced decision to leave, right? Um, and they come here with all of their education, all the doctors and all the lawyers and whatnot, and they raise their children to be doctors and lawyers and such. Um, what is going to happen in 20 years when you have new, young um, Venezuelan or mixed people who run in an office and in parliament and all these things,
Yeah.
and trying to create a better country. Like genuinely, they want a better country, and it's not about race. It's not a race propaganda where they're trying to indoctrinate everybody or bring the whole of Venezuela here. They're just trying to make things better. What is going to happen then?
But
Uh,
oh, but you see, like beside that's why I think I will still point back to history. Like history is something important that everybody need to know.
mhm.
Whether it be just for this country or on a world scale, that like on the history of like certain things on the planet Earth now. Um, now what you're talking about there is basically like a plural society where you have melting pot of cultures like Trinidad. Now,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's something that if there's a disadvantage, I don't want to say a disadvantage, or if it's like a drawback of a plural society. I think because of the aspect of race, once it have a no again, like I don't know, like people is what people need to know is that to have one race now is the human race now. I mean, last time I checked, like is the human race now.
Mhm.
That's how I look at it personally, and I think that
Yeah,
is
and
people need to
a
look at it
comment a,
like
a comment
yeah,
that I made last time when we was actually talking on the phone was that
okay,
everybody on this part of the world, in the Caribbean, a
yeah,
lot of people, at least, we're all black. It doesn't matter the texture of it here.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like that's why I think history is important because if you know your history, you will know. Um, I mean, like you will figure out certain things that contradict what's going on or what you're experiencing sometimes right now. Like it has something like how you say that's a controversial thing, like for like how we bring up that particular topic on race and like what we experience in Trinidad. Um, I kinda have the same, well, not kinda, I have the same vibe towards religion now. But
Mm.
you know where that is going on, right? And
Yeah.
and for me, it's like just because if somebody see that, I don't know, like we live in a society now where if somebody see that, it's like, yeah, you don't believe in God, you don't believe in these things, you don't believe in nothing, you just are
Mm.
atheist or some kind of madness. And it's like if you know your history, it will change your perspective on religion. I'm telling you, and that is personally what I consuming right now, like
Mm.
history, like history. Like if you know your history, you will know.
Which I don't know how you're doing it, right? But
Yeah.
you're doing it based on religion, like you're taking it religion at a time, or you're just reviewing
Well,
history to see how religion influences history.
right? Is more from the same topic you was talking from before now, before this thing on religion, like basically on race and thing now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't
Well, I
really
mean,
I
go ahead, go ahead.
wanted to talk about that because like I know that perspective is not for everybody, but
Mm.
the reason why
No,
I keep stressing on
if you're
history is
comfortable,
because
share it because we all about
why
ideas anyway.
like for me like alright, so if you all right, let me see how I could formulate this properly. So the history I talking about personally is more of African history. The reason why is because you have besides data out there that's showing that okay, life would have start from or civilization would have start from Africa. All right. I don't know how we want to take that or we want to it have evidence that shows that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That would mean that yeah, like that should answer the question there. That should answer a question there in terms of like why like everybody's the same. Everybody's the same. Like what's the problem? Like like everybody's the same. We come from the same place. Yes, we would have truly different. We would have what to say? We would have migrate, go to different places, and then certain things will develop based on the different changes within those territories. All right. Now, the reason I keep stressing history, and in part, for me at least, like African history, is because it, if civilization would have started from there, you understand that, and then you have all this information that's stored in pyramids, that written on the walls, though. You have people that literally that, and somebody I would like anybody to check out is a guy called Anthony T. Browder. He specializes in and like he does excavations and thing on different sites and stuff in Egypt, and like it have evidence out there that it right there on the walls, you know. Remember, what we have to remember is that these people would have existed for a certain period of time before certain things like before things like religion. You understand? So that's like if you take that into account, like, and that's why I keep going back to like the history part. You realize that certain things out there that prove that are being put in front of us is not accurate that way. You understand?
I understand what you're saying, right?
And
I
that is
was
kind
trying
of
to
have
remember this guy name here, but
but it's a real for me. I don't see it as a controversial topic again because like I think like one thing that put that Anthony Bro, that guy instilled in me is to know your history. And if you know your history, you will have a better understanding of how life is or where we would have come from and how we would have reached to this stage. You know, like in terms of like all these different things that we have to judge people on, like why, like for what purpose? We could only see like it have no good purpose out of classifying people in different races, because all that creates is it creates a kind of hierarchy system. It creates a hierarchy system, and that's the problem. That's like one of the problems I think personally is like, and when it comes to religion, well, you see like when you watch that all that data from these guys like Anthony T. Browder and like Robin Walker, you will see that certain things like certain things that we think that were
it's an interesting guy you should follow is Graham Hancock. I'll send his I'll WhatsApp his his name, right? But You see, like how you're trying to unravel what the truth is through history, I think he's a truth seeker
Yeah.
as well, doing the same thing, right? So he just talk about all sorts of things, like how you said it is have all these hieroglyphics and paintings on the walls and the tombs, I think he just go and try to uncover all of these things there. He's
That is
really
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 you see like
um,
what
he's really powerful and prolific writer as well. So like
okay.
I'll send you his information. Make sure and check it out because I think it'll benefit you a lot.
And that's the thing, like if everybody knew those things, they wouldn't have the mindset. Some people wouldn't have the mindset they have right now. We wouldn't have these kind of issues, right?
Mm.
Because everybody would understand that we are all the same people in different, okay. But we come from the same place. We have this, like those things now, like when they start from there and then I thought they freezy, right? It's like he had
No, no.
freezy. Was it?
Yeah, yeah. What's
Again,
your name?
like it have, and this have nothing to do with this, like this whole conspiracy theory, woo culture kind of garbage. Like it have nothing to do with that, right? It's just simple knowing the history. That is all. It's just once you know your history, you'll be able to internalize for yourself what things are true and what things are false. That is all. That is basically my perspective on it.
Mm.
If I had includes and like if I had to close off on that particular topic, yeah,
Yeah.
that is how I look at it.
Mm. All right. I no, I agree with you. I really agree with you because so the reason why I'd ask about the thing about religion, like how it is you viewing it, how it is you actually doing your research, because I
Yeah,
thought that he was doing a history check on how religion affected countries and societies, and so like like how the Bible was spread uh, by force to different countries, and they forced people to be indoctrinated and thing, and it is
correct,
weird. It is weird that you see people who are strong Christians, and I'm not bashing nobody. It just happen to be
correct.
a
No, it's
matter of
facts.
fact thing, right?
You're talking real
And
talk. Yeah,
the people are strong Christians that they're practicing a religion that was forced upon them, that was never theirs, and even if it is that, regardless of the fact that their religion is true or not, regardless of that, um, they're not practicing what their ancestors were practicing. You know?
correct. That is basically way because this is how we have to look. This is how I true Anthony T. Brother. This is the little takeaways I get from it. You have to remember that, and this is the reason why I personally doing looking at African history because based on the knowledge and the information transferred from that guy, he he summed it up perfectly. Essentially, any enslaved person will worship the the deities or the gods of the enslavers.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It could have been anybody. It could be they could have come wearing any kind of thing. At the end of the day, as an enslaved person, you're going to have to learn those things from your enslaver.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing is through years of like well basically fast forward till now. If if you as a black person don't know your history, you understand? Or you as a person, and the reason why it just falls into that place because it comes from Africa is African history. It have nothing else I could say again, like or put it in other words. It is African history, and that is
Mm.
and well, I mean, it kind of bears to me to some extent, obviously. But the thing is like what I was trying to say is like if you don't know your history, how you gonna know how to move forward? How you gonna know where you failed in the past? How you gonna know how you end up? Yeah, to not end up in a situation like that again. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? It's like anybody could just sit down and think about it. Somebody comes in, whether on and it will always have people that will be like, yeah, what about the same the Africans that would have sold their own people to this. I don't want to hear nothing like that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about and this doesn't only apply, obviously it applies to everybody. Like what about the Mayans what about the other what's it called, all the other, trying to find the correct word, but like all the other civilizations that they would have had before, that would have been tumbled through colonization. When they would have get disease from, like Eastern diseases, all the things from Europe and stuff, and then they basically have to accept this document as their guide now. You can't expect people to, like, they're going to reason, and that's why, I mean, like, guys, I don't know, but it's plenty, it's real plenty, but it's plenty
I know,
things that...
and the problem is, John, that because it happens so far away, right? So far away. There is a strong disconnect between what was happening and what is happening now, because well, I'm not talking about the colonization and the taking over. I'm talking about like what people were practicing to be their truth, right?
Correct.
That part, from there until now, there is such a strong disconnect that even if it is they tell people or go around preaching to people about this is what used to happen, nobody's interested, because you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of living a particular life, as a whatever religion you probably choose to, as your ancestors had they were forced, and then their parent, their children grew into that grooves, and then so forth and so forth. But
it's plenty, but it's...
who goes to say what the actual truth about life is? I mean, everybody has their own opinion that their religion is the truth. But you need to take an honest look at what the books are about, because the books are really telling on what God is like, and God's relationship with creation, and if it is that, so there are characteristics for God, right? So God is God is all knowing, God is all things, but God cannot exist within the creation. So it's like the infinity cannot fit within the finite. And people say that, oh, God could do anything, but God can't break the rules in which He placed upon everything. So like above all things, God must make sense, right? And it just doesn't make sense to fit God in a box that says that God looks like this, God looks like this, and
correct. Like, again, like, when you go into a church and you see a certain color of Jesus Christ, like, that in itself should kind of, if you know a history, that's what I say. Like, if you know a history,
the European Jesus.
Correct. If you know a history, that should bother you. You understand? Because that should bother you. Like, I don't know what to say. It's like the same meme with the fellas be like this, like that should bother you. Like,
you know why there is a King James version of the Bible?
Yeah.
Right. So King James was the council that dictated everything moving forward with regards to Christianity. So the King James version is a compilation of all the variations of the Bible at that point in time, that was made manifest in the King James version, and supposedly they left out a bunch of things. That is a claim, but I don't know how true that is.
A few edits. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that there are not edits, right? But and I'm not saying that there's
no, you know what I mean? Like, sorry, that's the
untrue.
edits they cut out. Like, the edits is like cutting out some of these.
Yeah, but I don't know to what extent they remove stuff,
And that is why, you see, like, to answer your question, like, you don't, the extent of which they would have removed stuff, you could only gather that information if you know history. If you know if it know your history from a unadulterated point of view, nothing like you have to get from the source. And to be honest, the source is the Egyptians. Like think about it. These they have it have so much. So I don't know. That's why I would recommend anybody to check out videos from same Anthony T. Browder, because he kinda explain it. He kinda through all the drawings, the hieroglyphics, and everything, basically, where you could see from different pyramids or different tombs in those pyramids in Egypt. It literally speaks to it speaks to stories that linked with the Immaculate Conception, linked to that same kind of vibe now, but it does have different names, different people, like that now. So the thing is like with that knowledge now, you should understand that hey, could see it here. Like remember, at the end of the day, these things are just interpretations of, or like the the human aspect of that interpretation. That's how I look at it. But at the end of the day, if these pyramids, if these hieroglyphics pointing back to dates before certain things in history, how can I take these things that being presented to me as facts? Now I see it. Nobody thinking nobody thinking about like that now. Like
You think
that's what you need to do.
You think the pyramids were built by aliens?
I don't know, but like I mean, like I would
I'll show you
like to
the conspiracy before, right?
Yeah.
I'll show you the conspiracy
I mean, like
before, right? You know what is a real telling sign about that? And people is deny a whole bunch of things, but as you mentioned, hieroglyphics, right? People is draw or write it as their language, right? They write what they saw on their walls, right? Where it would remain there, right? And if it is you look at the hieroglyphics, it depends on like where you go, they'll be willing to show you, you know. But if it is that you go to like a truth seeker type of site or channel on YouTube or something, they'll clearly show you that the hieroglyphics, some of the hieroglyphics, they do in fact dictate, they picture aliens on the hieroglyphics. People with helmets on, people with flying saucers in the sky, and because you see where the pictures where they're showing a man pointing up, and they have some sort of thing on the sky. So it's weird. Look, even I'm sure a lot of people don't know this, but in on the painting of Mona Lisa, right? Back in that time as well, Da Vinci drew a spacecraft in the background. Yes.
You know, you mentioned that just now. Like, you ever hear about the Madonna? It's supposed to be like just if you pull it up right now, that's from I think it's like a statue of a dark skinned person. That's
What's his name?
in the Madonna. I think it's just the Madonna. My laptop just died on me there, boy. Right. Check out that. Like, watch that and like from you'll get some information there. Like that alone kind of open my perspective too on like certain things now, way. Because and it was a very
always kind of a child. Is a lady and a child?
Yeah. No, that artifact is actually I think that protected by the So you sort of ask yourself like why these things, like, and you can clearly see the the complexion of the statue there. So it's up to people. This is how I see it. Right? Is you have to have a need to want to know more, or at least be able to explain certain things. And if you're just going ahead with the norms and everything, well, I mean, fine. But like personally, for me, I need to know certain things before, like it's my time now. Like that's how I see it. Like I don't know, like now is this the perfect time? Like how we like, like it's nothing to just research them thing. I don't tell people I don't force this down on people, to be honest. I just try to share that knowledge. Like I share it with close family and friends.
Mm.
But it's up to them if they want to take my own. Because everybody else everybody else in their own world. They have things to deal with. They might not have time to but at the end of the day, it's like for me, like watching those things help me understand things about myself, things about people, things about the world. You know, like it could be. I mean, when it start to see those, especially when they have the evidence, and I think these guys have the evidence. You know, like, it's not a man that's talking and saying in 200 BC this and that. The people they have the data. They have the data. So like but
Yeah.
when it comes to that question with respect to the pyramids and if aliens built it, I mean, like, I wouldn't doubt it, because at the end of the day, if those pyramids predate certain things, I mean, we can't even build it right now with modern technology. We can't build it like how they did it. If it's 20 tons of slab, you understand, and like to get in that shape, and I mean, like, what was for based on how based on some of the explanations that people would have put out in terms of pyramids. Well, pyramid is really a Greek name. To be honest, like, you see the when it comes to the Greeks and them. Now, what we have to remember is that, like how they, like, the Hippocratic Oath and Hippocrates and thing. All right, I think he was supposed to be like the realest medical person, or like he had knowledge on like certain medicines, how to mix them, how to, like, things like that. I would assume
I
so.
don't know.
And then when you no, that Hippocrates person, that is just the Greek telling their story of how, like, those gods or whatever they call them now. Now the thing is, when you watch history, when you look at especially, well, the thing we were talking about in terms of the pyramids and stuff. Now, actually, you ever hear the name Imhotep? It was in one of the mummy movies when it was chanting.
Yeah, he's a real
right?
character.
Right.
His tomb was empty. They didn't know where his body went on.
He was one of the. He was so Imhotep would have basically passed on that knowledge, or taught, or like, because at the time, through history at the time, since that full civilization would have started there in Africa, in Egypt, or like around that area. I think it's along the Nile. There's always mentioned the Nile, that particular river that running through. Correct. So, like, basically, Imhotep was responsible for building or creating the architectural designs for the pyramids. Now, he was also knowledgeable in medicine and stuff. And at that time, rarely years ago, people used to come there to learn knowledge and take it back to their respective places now. You understand? So, like, and it there in history. That's the thing, it there in the data, it there in the hieroglyphics, it there in Egypt. Everything there, you know. And as you say, it's had already actually said why certain tombs are looted. Why? Like it have tombs that they didn't even discover that still have things. It still have things intact. It still have, like, certain, where them thing go on by, like, who have it and why? You understand?
I mean, why would you want to hijack a body, right?
Exactly. You must have knowledge of something. That is all I had to say. Like honestly.
I've heard some crazy theories, I think, and people just want to say how it's speculation, of course, right? Because we have no definition, definite clue of what they look like, right? We could assume, right? But people just want to think that Imhotep was actually an alien and all kind of thing. The reason why he doesn't have a body in his tomb is because he went back in the sky. I mean, it is. At some point, you just kind of have to wonder what is that a question reality, right? Because the same thing you see in Egypt with
Mhm.
the pyramids. I think you have pyramids all around the world, right? Nobody knew why all these different societies decided to build pyramids. And ironically, is that the same things you see on the hieroglyphics on the pyramids in Egypt is the same things you will see in the hieroglyphics everywhere else around the world. Depictions of, just regular life, their leaders, things like that. But you would also see pictures of aliens, which is where these flying saucers and things, right? Um, I don't know why. Like honestly, like as really wonder like if I die or when I die, I say if um if there's any one wish I could have would be to watch all of history, like watch all these things that I always wanted to know about, and like
Right?
uh, uh um and I don't even talking about like all the major things, not just those. I want to know like all of it, like not like everyday life, I think, but like the things that people is really draw conspiracy around, I think. So
Correct.
like um, Bigfoot is a real thing, or yes or no? I mean, things
Right.
like that in a way.
But that brings me to like as you mentioned like with the well when is we time and thing now, right? Like with respect to reincarnation and things like this is another thing I don't want to talk about, but you know what? Why
We're
dog
talking
like whoever go listen, whoever go move on. But like,
yeah,
do you consider reincarnation as necessarily a good thing?
a good thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And that is yeah. Do you what's your take on reincarnation essentially?
right. So I don't know to what you believe about
Yeah.
reincarnation, right? But let me tell you what I understand of reincarnation, right? So I was born Hindu, right? So at some point in time, I was a practicing Hindu. I learned as much about Hinduism as I could. Um, I wanted more for life, and then I became Muslim, right? Now, I told you that to tell you this, right? Now, Hindus believe in reincarnation as well, right? You hear me properly, right?
It really made me real hard, but like start hard instead of
Uh-huh.
yeah, you never
Oh,
turn
you
off.
want to talk louder? All right,
No,
cool.
no,
So, um, so yeah, Hindus believe in reincarnation, right? Buddhists believe in reincarnation. I have some other societies as well that believe in reincarnation, right?
yeah,
Now, I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing, right? Because reincarnation is supposed to mean that you're supposed to elevate your spirit to a point where it's able to become one with the divine, with the creator. And if it is you fall short because of your deeds and things like that, and how you view life, like your mindset, I think you would end up coming back to live a worldly life until you get it right, right? That was the whole idea of reincarnation, right? So in Islam, we don't believe in reincarnation, do not believe in reincarnation, but we in the Quran talks about different lives, right? So the different lives that we experience is not the life of the physical body, but of the soul. So there's a part in which where the soul um, would stay for a little while, then we'll be born, then we'll have the life of the soul within the womb of the mother for 9 months. Then we'll have the worldly life. Um, then we'll have the life in the grave while you're waiting for judgment to pass. Then we'll have the final life, which is wherever it is, depending on how you live your life, where you'll go, right? So if it is you really think about it, these things are actual really lives in itself, right? So it's like the soul is not being reincarnated, but it's just being transferred from one place to the next, and you're living a whole new life. It's like if you're migrating, you're just going somewhere else, having a whole new life, right?
yeah.
Um, but we don't get reincarnated into a physical body. the soul continues to live, of course. The soul cannot be destroyed. So that's what I think. Well, that's what I know of reincarnation. Right now, to say um, reincarnation being reborn and reborn and reborn, if that is a good thing,
Yeah.
it could only be a good thing if it is you have fragments of your memory to
To know where you feel.
utilize to utilize.
Correct.
Aside from that, reincarnation serves no purpose because every life is going to be a brand new life.
That's exactly, honestly, you see, like, no, that's exactly, you see, like, where let's bring there, essentially, that's why I came from the angle of why you think it's a good thing now, because you would think that, all right, so the process of reincarnation, like, exactly what you explained there, but why can't we, what's the sense coming back with no memories of anything to know how we have to come in a totally different, because we don't know what, I mean, like, we don't know what
What
family,
happened before?
like, you understand now, so, like,
Yeah.
why, was really the lesson to learn from that if you don't have that information to remember the things now that they required,
Mm-hmm.
or, like that now. So, I mean, I just looking at it from that perspective, as well as, the funny thing though, like, it's had a movie that come out recently. The name of it is boy, Infinite, with
Infinite.
yeah, with this Mark Wahlberg guy, the guy
Mm-hmm.
that can Ted. Yeah, he was
Yes.
in
Yeah.
that movie. So I recommend you watch that movie, and but just watch it for what it is. Don't watch the characters. Don't watch what the
Mm-hmm.
characters symbolize really. Watch what the story is about, and let me know what you think on it, because it had a real interesting perspective, by kind of touching on what we was talking about just now.
Okay.
And I honestly
Um.
recommend anybody to watch that movie. I mean, like, it got a low rating. I don't know why, but
Mm-hmm.
because I find it personally, the story wasn't bad, but it's
Mm-hmm.
what the story had in it now, what the story was projecting, what was the aim of the story now. Like, it's pretty different.
A lot of
That is why
movies
I kind
like
of,
that, like so there's a movie that I always recommend. Is a really mind-bending movie.
yeah,
It's called Predestination, right?
predestination. Right?
Predestination, right? So I
Yeah.
don't want to spoil anything for you, but it's about a whole bunch of different people who happen to be the same person.
Who have to do what?
Um, who happen to be the same person.
Oh, okay, okay. Would.
Yeah.
It's not a
So
personality disorder thing in their mind.
no,
It's not like that.
is a
Okay,
time
okay.
travel kind of thing, right? And everybody I
Okay,
tell that
okay.
movie to love it, right? And when it is here, do a little bit of research on the movie, like the ratings on it. It just average, but is literally a phenomenal movie. Yes. And I think that is because movies don't have a certain cinematic presence, like like Interstellar, right, where you're seeing all the bright lights are traveling through space and the whole experience and being in a whole new environment. I think I
Yeah.
feel like just because movies that have a particular genre doesn't follow that style is not gonna get a lot of ratings or a lot of
Correct.
yeah thing, you know. Because but it's a really good movie. I go watch your movie, you watch my movie.
All
um,
right, all
so
right.
yeah, you see how that goes. But yeah, way. But you have any other thoughts on the reincarnation thing?
Wait, I mean, like, for me, I think, like, we kind of answer it. Well, I mean, like, we kind of express it there. I mean, from my perspective, way is like, as we was discussing, way is like, was he sense coming back with all the knowledge to do
Hmm.
better on this physical earth now? Like, why we will? I mean, like, even let me say, why you go? necessarily want to come back here now, but like if you want to um as I explained, like reach higher levels in like in your spirit, like coming back here, how that personally helping foster like a good spirit now with all the
Mhm.
bad things that have here. Like that one, I mean, like that's how I kind of see it. Like,
Mm. Well, I mean, it makes sense to overcome, right? Overcome whatever problems are in, but um, it all boils back down to the same thing. If it is a comeback with no knowledge, no nothing, no means of accessing it, no anything, it is going to be really purposeless. You know, it has no purpose behind it. Yeah, but John, I'm going to ask you a weird question, but I mean it with all seriousness, right? Um,
yeah,
you ever do drugs, Russ?
huh?
You ever do drugs?
If, yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, like marijuana, that is it right there.
Like,
I
does it?
know it is feel. Yeah,
Um, Honestly, like the whole conspiracy with marijuana thing, I think that is
yeah,
long story short. I know he's expanding things, but uh, that's not the point. Marijuana is I feel like that's a plant we're supposed to be using to benefit and aid
of
mankind,
course,
and we
of
demonize
course,
it.
of course, of
Um,
course, of course. The
Moving
stigma
on.
behind it.
Um, the reason why I brought up drugs is that
Yeah,
have you ever contemplated trying a psychedelic?
I mean, like DMT and
Yeah,
um,
yeah, and
what's called this
LSD.
thing again? The LSD and then it
I
had
think it's
the
drink
ayahuasca.
ayahuasca. I'm
Yeah,
surprised you know about
yeah.
DMT and ayahuasca a
Afraid
lot
that
more.
one.
They're the
Afraid
same
that
thing, you
one
know.
because like
The
okay,
ayahuasca.
okay.
The
It's
only
just a
problem is
different
that the DMT is a crystal-like thing. You just put it in like a
recently.
in a pipe or something and smoke it, right? The ayahuasca contains DMT, but it is being made in a way that you could consume it, you could drink it, and it'll have the effects on you, right? So the reason why I brought it up is that people just have this whole
Awakening.
lucid, yeah, it's an awakening, and it is have um, they have this whole other life in a time span of 15-20 minutes, and then they come back. You know, I hear stories like on YouTube, and because like Joe Rogan, he just have he always endorsing DMT, right? He always doing DMT, and he somebody his guest I think is be talking about it, I think, and um, one of his guests was talking about how he did DMT, and this guy had a whole literal whole life, right? So um, from birth up until death, he experienced it all, right? Having children, getting married, growing old, dying, right? And when he died, he woke up. And I, I'll ask you a question after, but imagine, you die
Good
and
try.
you wake up, and you wake up with like a pipe in your hand, and it's it's like
Wait, this
you're experiencing all of this right now here now, and
uh,
as real as it is, and it's just a DMT trip we all having, because you can never know, you'll never
this
know until you wake up.
what no to I know like first of all like what I want to say is that we shouldn't like I mean like I don't know I don't really classify marijuana as a drug. I just you have to call it by what I see it as and I see it as a herb or a flower. And I think that
Mhm.
is like what people need to start looking at it from now. Like there's a herb, there's a flower. You could put it in your seasoning. You know, it's not something that you could process it to get like the most
Mhm.
amount of THC you want out of it, but it's something that is naturally occurring. Like it's a plant that is grew from a seed that is require sunlight and certain amount of
Yeah.
night to, you know.
Well, the
But
THC
like,
is only a fraction of the whole composition, right? And that is the only
uh,
thing that's make it high. But everything else is extremely valuable as well.
helpful,
Like
yeah.
people
CBD,
use
CBN,
CBD oil and all kind of things help cancer.
Yeah.
CBDs
Yep.
help all sorts of different things, and the reason why it's demonized is because one is a war on consciousness, right? Because you don't want people to really wake up and see that these things are good, that could help you heal your body, heal your soul, and well, there's the whole conspiracy with big pharma thing. You know, you keep people sick, so you keep making money. You know,
And that is a actual conspiracy. It's like, personally,
that is a real life thing.
I don't care what nobody say, dog. Like, that is one thing, like, let me be real out here, dog. It have natural remedies for certain ailments, or for certain natural cycles. Like, dog, like, in the 1600s, it have literal, like, paintings of Chinese, like, Chinese people given, like, they used to use that for women that going through menstrual pains and cycle and thing. That does help. That thing does actually help. You understand? It's like you don't see that there. No, that take something that to take, some chemical, something that not natural now, boy. So I don't know, boy. You have to really. That's why I say, like, I feel like I keep going back to this point, but you have to know the history. When I say history, it don't have to be the beginning of the world, or it just have to be the history of certain things. Why it went from this to that. What it was associated with. You understand? Like, let me be real, like, we know how America had seen marijuana in the early times when it came to black people and Latino people. That's facts. It literally have newspaper articles that showing literally where you're seeing they're telling, like, Caucasian women to, like, go smoke this because you'll be taken advantage of by these people. You understand? And they actually have drawings of what they thought Mexican people look like or black people look like. So, like, it honestly, but it's like people need to know their history. People need to start asking questions. That is all. If you start asking questions about things, you'll get answers if you look properly. You understand? And if you have that drive to continue looking for it now, because once you know things, and I know I realize that even though we talking real plenty here, I don't talk much, by. And that's saying that when the more you, I don't want to say the more you know, the less you talk, by. You understand? Like, that's a fact, by. Because the way how you internalize things will be totally different. Because you have more information to bounce it off, to make a, like, to come up with a proper conclusion on something.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what people not doing. Like, and I don't know, like, I don't know. There's plenty vibes, like.
Yeah. So
people
I
don't
want to
have.
ask you,
What's that?
you ever think you try some DMT or ayahuasca?
But if the thing is, by, like, I mean, with the ayahuasca part, I don't want to go, like, any proper places to do it. Like, if I don't want, like the actual, like, when they go in, like, them rainforests and thing, and they meet up with them Asian people.
Yeah, of course. You could do it in Peru or Costa Rica or something, because that's the two places that the plant does grow, right?
Yeah.
So it is actually have resorts and then you could go and do you could do ayahuasca trip, and they'll take you for like however long you pay for it. So it's like 3 or 5 days, and you do like the ceremony. So like you could do 2 or 3 times within that 5 days. You could do the ayahuasca. I mean, it is really difficult, but it all depends on what it is you're looking for, right? I would honestly recommend. I mean, this will sound bad, but I recommend people to try psychedelics, because.
But it's not singing bad, by, though. The reason why, though, it's not singing bad because you know what you know about it. We know, you know, like, you understand. So now, well, sorry, continue.
Yeah. Because it is extremely, extremely therapeutic, and like a lot of people who suffer with all sorts of mental illnesses, depression, uh, personality problems, all these types of things. You know, they take these trips, and I don't know what has happened exactly, for each individual, but um, a lot of people is end up having an amazingly good trip because they go in with no expectations. They want healing. They all they're seeking is healing, and the universe is giving it. I mean, I don't know what the connection between these drugs are and the whole grand scheme of life, like the universe or the energies or whatever it is. But
You hear something?
um,
I
it's
think I could. I hear somebody explain it, but now you go ahead. I'll try to explain it to you after.
but it seems I'm really glad that we have it, and it seems like something that everybody should try at least once in a life.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, so like it had so much of points on that whole thing. Let's break through there. Essentially, it is even people that went through traumatic experiences in their life. If they get like raped, if they get like molested and thing, that is there's actually recommend that particular trip for them to like um it has helped them kind of it's like I kind of accept like help them accept their life and what they experience in their life. That is like
Hmm.
that was one other aspect of like those psychedelics like DMT and ayahuasca and stuff that people was marketing it on. Now, if it was the history of them kind of drugs, it was it literally have a kind of biopic on a husband and wife that used to be making that was experimenting with them drugs in the early I think it's in the 80s or the early 90s something like that. But I can't remember 100%, but he would have been one of the people to synthesize the first version of something similar to like DMT, something like that, like a crystalline format. And
Hmm.
he and his wife were actually taking it. And brother man, like them interviewed that woman. That lady is like about she was real old. Let me just say that the rings around she eye change color. That's how you know when somebody kinda clocking some age now, right?
Hmm.
And that lady was talking perfect, knows nothing like the person presented in front of you looking extremely old, but they are talking like they're still like in their 20s now, right? And
Serious.
she attributed that to that constant like microdosing of those things now, right?
Hmm.
And she get to understand a lot of things in life and why you shouldn't study certain things because like apparently now this is the explanation what I let's hear somebody kind of explain it now. Apparently, like how well THC does affect the cannabinoid receptors in the brain that is kind of offset certain functions now. It's kind of like like apparently also THC does kind of expand your blood vessels and all them kind of thing. Like it
Okay.
have like information that show that.
Hmm.
And what DMT does do, or those other kind of say like mushrooms and thing. I'll quicker try that locally. Like if I like mushrooms, but like any other thing that has to be made like in a crystalline form, I don't know where they're coming from. So I would recommend that unless you know where them thing coming from, and you have a proper guru or somebody to guide you as to how much
Hmm.
you should take,
Yeah,
and
you just need a trip sitter.
correct because you could dead from them thing essentially. Um, but what it is do you so apparently we just see things on a certain spectrum. When you take those drugs, it is kind of mess up the receptors between your brain and your eye, and you just see things that not within the light photon spectrum. So that is why when people trip, they just see all. When they trip on those kind of psychedelics, you will see all kind of different mad, like things that is mad. Some people just try to interpret it by drawing it, like like you will see like a lot of patterns or a lot of like a kaleidoscope kind of vibe.
Hmm.
Like apparently
So,
that is your brain trying to interpret like something with the light photon spectrum.
mm, but
If yeah.
every everything is different for people. It like I was mentioning before, right? If it is you administer your DMT properly, right? And so it is have two phases for when you take a DMT, right? When you hit DMT, you end up in the waiting room where you transitioning through like quote unquote time and space, right? You're seeing all the kaleidoscope effects and you're hearing a buzzing sound and you're seeing all these shapes forming and all kind of things. And the step beyond that is where you're having a full breakthrough. So is like this is where you go and you see the entities, you see the higher beings, and or you go and you experience a whole different life. Because when you're doing like these psychedelics, time, real life time, just feel like it stopped, and it is like is a unexplainable uh, experience to explain. It's like you're trying to explain colors to a blind man, you know. It's um,
Anyway.
but when you're ready, I'll go hook you up.
Just in case the TTPS listening, we are good people. we talking facts here, all right? Let's check your history.
Yeah.
Check your history.
Okay. But but it's interesting. It's interesting experiences, right?
Of course.
I didn't know that like how you explain like how your brain is see the kaleidoscope and is trying to like make sense of it. Like I didn't know that that is the reason why you just see the thing. I just thought I just didn't think about it. It's just like it's just interesting to hear.
Well, honestly, like when it comes to that particular take on like things like what we see in the physical world now, like it have people that just try to explain like how the matter and thing we see now is because we in a specific environment that has allowed we to see things on a specific something to do with a specific spectrum of light that we could interpret matter now.
Yeah.
And like basically the drugs is kind of the DMT or the psychedelics is kind of warp that and allow it to like see beyond that now.
Well, the DMT does actually knock you out. The LSD does keep you awake. Like if it is study DMT properly, you just actually pass out for like a cool 15-20 minutes, like I said.
Yeah.
But like if it is normally is advised to just like leave the person, let it go through the trip. If it is like you're having a bad trip for whatever reason, and you're seeing a physical reaction to it, like you're just kicking and screaming or something, you could touch them and shake them and they'll wake up. So it's not like you're out cold and you could get raped. It's not like that.
Would.
But the LSD is one where it is really is mind bending in a way that because you see things different, like literally a vision just be elevated, right? And it's interesting that you mentioned like you see things that you see things in a different way that you would normally see, which you normalize. Um, the only reason this is interesting to me is because lately I've been watching a lot of ghost videos and like ghost caught on tape and all these things, and it's how people just be they could be like normal and they'd have a ghost standing right next to them or something, like some sort of entity or something, and you don't see it, but you just see it on the camera. And I was watching a video where this guy was playing his Xbox and his Connect camera um, was seeing something that was in his room right behind him, and like how you see my wall is, so like it'll be in the corner right there or something, and it's like a distance away, and the people who was actually watching him on the live stream would be seeing it, but like if he turned on, he not seen him, and he would go around and investigate and all these things, and it would disappear eventually. Like you would actually see it go up or down or fade away or something, But is just interesting that light itself is like a whole is
yes, it's everything. It's like almost everything
from 0 to 100, and we're only seeing on level 1.
Correct. Like,
yeah.
And you know what? You know what's our next interesting thing? Like, at that time where I was talking with my father and my brother and them, and we was talking about like how children, like little babies, sometimes they might be in the crib and they're watching around and seeing things and laughing and they want to know what it is. And personally, like when I was trying to figure out, like I didn't do any kind of hard research. I was just thinking in my mind that way, and it's like if that whole thing about the light photon spectrum, like because remember when we come into obviously when we come into the world, we body trying to it trying to acclimatize to the current environment from inside the room to here now. So obviously, imagine if them training and them because their eyes are developed as 100% as yet, they still able to see things that on a specific spectrum now. Before the eyes are acclimatized to this, to what we know what is sight now, like, or how we interpret colors and things like that is real thing, you know. It's real thing, but like
Yeah. Um, but I don't know. It's plenty.
oh my word. Oh
No,
my
it's just no. It's plenty. It's plenty to talk about, you know, and there's plenty to know because there's so much that we don't know as well.
correct, boy.
You mentioned that so in the story of creation, right, from uh, you could say a biblical standpoint, but talking from an Islamic standpoint as well, right? Um, because the story of creation is the same for both Islam and the Bible, right? Um, you know, God created heaven, things like that. But the Bible doesn't talk about it. Maybe it's one of those things that they was edited out. But um, there are different creations, right? Um, we in Islam we believe in other creations aside from humans that have free will, right? Um, so one in particular, well, the only one in particular really is the creation that was here before us on the earth, right? They were called the jinns, right? So the jinns, they were created out of smokeless fire, right? So they were just this thing that existed. They had free will, just like um, we humans have free will to do anything that we want. They could worship God. They could do anything. But the jinns, they're not like us in the sense that uh, we're bound by gravity and all these physical aspects of the earth, you know. They could fly and go wherever they want to go as fast as they want to go and things, right? Um, there was a great war that was happening with regards to the jinns. They were fighting amongst themselves, and God was like, and all right, let me just get rid of this creation and bring about a new creation, which would have been man, right? Now, we know of God trying to like get rid of creation from the Bible standpoint, where you know um, he had the great flood, or he burned down the city with
Sodom,
Lot, with
Gomorrah.
Lot, Sodom and Gomorrah, yeah, right. So there are instances where God has taken away his creation from the earth as well, right? So the great the Wujin War happened. There were still a few of them that were around. You know, these were the good jinns and whatnot, but these good jinns still have free will, right? Now, the concept of the devil did not really officially exist at that point in time. Now, there was one jinn called Iblis, right? Iblis was this one jinn who wanted dominion over everything, right? He wanted to rule the earth. He's like, all right, so the he got the news that God gonna wipe out everything, and he's gonna create a new. The word used is Khalifa, right? Now Khalifa just means like as like a viceroy, like a new leader in that sense, right? And he thought, you know, because he is worship God all the time and literally do like the narration is that there is not a place on earth that Iblis did not worship God, right? So everywhere on this earth, Iblis worship God, and so he thought that he would have been a leader of the earth and to create a new life and whatnot. But um, did you know what happened? And God created Adam, right? No, I don't know if you ever wondered why Adam got his name Adam, right? You
Nah.
ever wonder why Adam? Right, so Adam's name is Adam because God created Adam from all the sands, all the different sands of the earth, right? When he put it together and he molded it together, his complexion was that of wheat, right? So it's like a brown type of color, right? And wheat, the name of wheat for the language, like I can't remember the name of the language, but um, is Udum. So Udum Adam, that's where the name Adam came from, right?
Okay, okay.
Um,
Vibes.
Yeah, so God created Adam. He taught him the language. He taught him everything, the names of everything, whatever the names of everything are. So like the animals and whatever it is God had created at that point in time. Adam knew all of it, right? He called all the angels, and Iblis was there as well, right? And he said to all the angels and Iblis, whoever was there, prostrate in front of Adam because this is my new creation, and Adam is um, he didn't say son, he is like me, right? So Adam, I made Adam with my hands. This is my creation. Worship it, not as a god, but just worship it as a command from me. So like I tell you to do something, just do it, right? But the reason you're doing it is not out of respect or like of worship towards a god. You're just doing it because I tell you to do it, in a sense like that,
Hmm.
right? Um, that's just a paraphrase. That's a butchering it, right? But I'm just trying to get to the point, right? Um, so all the angels prostrated because the angels don't have free will. The angels have to obey everything that God tells them to do, right? All the angels prostrated and worshipped Adam, just like put their head to the ground, um, except for Iblis, right? The one jinn who had free will did not do it, right? Why? Because um, when God asked him, why does he didn't prostrate? Why does he didn't follow my orders? Iblis said, um, why does um, I have to worship something that is um, lesser than me, right? So this is the first form of racism that ever existed, right? Iblis said, why it is I have to worship something that is beneath me, right? Because he saw that God created Adam from all the sands of the earth, and before God blew breath into Adam and gave him spirit on him, he was just a hollow shell, right? So Iblis was able to uh, go through it and go and see inside it, and I think it was like a hollow trunk, right? Um, so he's like, I am made of fire. He's made of dirt. I'm greater than him. And that was the first sign of racism. And that's the first rebellion against God. And the bottom line is that before God uh, banished Iblis from entering the domains of the angels and again, he asked for three things, right? He asked for eternal life until judgment day. He asked um, he asked for two other things, but I can't remember, right? And he got banished, right? Of course, God knew everything that's going to happen and everything, right? So he just let it happen, right? Now the reason I had to actually think about why this God didn't just like erase Iblis right there, right? But the thing is, God is not a tyrant. God allows even his creation to do their own thing, like as we see it right now with Earth, right? Um, so once God gives you the privilege of free will, you're able to do anything that you want to do, right? And so he banished Iblis, right? And Iblis then got known as what we will know it as the devil, right? So the devil isn't this whole separate thing where it's like a god. No, um, the hellfire, like hell, is not a creation of. of the devil is actually a creation of God for punishment towards the non-believers and the disobedient and things like that. Um, what is a fun fact is that the hellfire, right? Hell is actually a tool as well. So is like a life sentence, but is also a tool where maybe you fall short in life, where you didn't do everything you were supposed to do to the capacity you were supposed to do. You sinned a lot, things like that, right? The hellfire is a tool where you'll go there for a little while, it'll purge you of your sins and cleanse you, and you go to heaven after. So like you qualify for heaven, but you qualify for heaven, but you qualify for a little bit of hell as well. So that is the second function of hell. I can't remember why I'm telling you all of this, but it was a lot to explain. But I feel like there's so much that could be true. And I'm not saying that what I just tell you is not true. I believe it to be true, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there who don't have that information as well, you know. And it's sad that a lot of people won't have that information as well, whatever the truth is, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, we was talking about DMT and then before, right? I feel like DMT allows you to just peek into the things that you can't normally see.
Yeah. Yeah, allow it to see things at whatever, if you want to call it a next dimension or another reality or another parallel reality that you can't see with your own eyes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. John, this podcast going on for like 3 hours now, you know. You
And my battery on 12% anyway.
you wanna go?
Well, unless like,
It's
unless
up to
you
you,
have
man. I
another.
mean, we could continue talking if you want, but I know it's been going on for a while. I just asking
Anyway.
you. You're the guest.
Yeah, I go right out there. I go right out there. I think people get fed up of seeing my bed here, so
Well, I mean, we talk a lot about everything and nothing as well.
yeah.
So we can pick up our next day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, way.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on my podcast.
Yeah, we thanks for having me.
And we'll have plenty more to talk about.
Yeah,
Where
man, for
people can
sure.
find you if they want to find you.
Well, I will stay hidden. Well, honestly, nah, I don't know. I don't answer. I mean, people could find me. Well, if they know me, they will find me.
No problem.
Yeah, well,
Alright.
yeah, man, take care. Keep it.
You can pick up.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yes.